Barclays Arena, I'm going to win a war.
It was a huge honor to fight Joanna and beat her. You know, she was the best in the division, and she was going down in history as one of the best. And it's going to be great to do it again.
I'm playing the spoiler. I'm coming in short notice, fight that no one thinks I can win, besides my friends and my teammates, and I'm going to do it.
Tonight, I want to be this best performance ever. I want to show all my skills, and tonight I'm going to show who is king on this territory.
Well, the UFC's New York City invasion continues tonight for the second time in as many years. We are in the borough of Brooklyn with a championship doubleheader that has the entire MMA world buzzing. Live inside Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, USA, this is UFC 223, Khabib versus Iaquinta. Closed captioning for tonight's telecast is brought to you by AMC's hit martial arts series Into the Badlands, which returns on Sunday, April 22nd at 10/9 Central, only on AMC. The broadcast is also available in Spanish, brought to you by UFCEspanol.com. And with that, thank you so much for being with us tonight for UFC 223. I'm John Anik, and it has been perhaps the craziest week in the 25-year history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Thankfully tonight, though, the focus is back on fighting, and Khabib Nurmagomedov just might be the most dominant force in the game at present. He is 25-0 tonight at long last. He gets his first shot at the UFC lightweight title. Of course, on the other side, out of the blue corner, the New Yorker Al Iaquinta stepping up here on short notice with an opportunity to change his life forever. Thrilled to welcome in my broadcast partners, Joe Rogan, Jimmy Smith. Joe, we've been conditioned to some changes, but this week, man, was something else.
Yeah, it was chaos upon chaos upon chaos. It didn't make any sense. It almost seemed like the event is cursed. So far, the fights tonight have been excellent. We're having a good time, but man, from Conor McGregor going crazy and throwing a dolly on the bus to Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg both getting cut to the point where from the glass that they got removed from the card. I mean, it's just madness.
As hard as it's been on production, we've had a million meetings, everybody's working overtime here to bring you a great show. The fighters, they've had to put this all behind them, refocus. They're the ones with the tough job tonight.
All right, well, let's get to it. The main event tonight, Khabib Nurmagomedov raging Al Iaquinta. And Joe, for Khabib, largely the goal is unchanged. He was rumored to be fighting a number of different guys. Tonight, he gets Al Iaquinta.
He certainly does, and he is what David Goggins would say, uncommon amongst uncommon men. He is elite amongst the elite, destroys top-level fighters, make them look like they don't belong in there. One of the very best grapplers in MMA. He also has an outstanding striking game, and he just mauls world-class, top-level fighters at a level I personally have never seen before in the lightweight division.
And on the other side, raging Al Iaquinta, Jimmy, with the opportunity of a lifetime.
11 years ago tonight, his coach, Matt Serra, upset GSP, perhaps the greatest upset in mixed do it. A natural 155er, very heavy-handed, a wrestling background also. He was in camp for a guy with great ground and pound, great elbows. He's been prepared for this kind of fight. This is the opportunity of a lifetime.
Well, here was the scene at the weigh-in a day ago. Joe, you had a front row seat, and don't let Iaquinta's low-key demeanor fool you. There's a killer in there.
What I like about this fight most is that Iaquinta is crazy. Legitimately crazy. Trash hotel rooms crazy. Fight King Kong crazy. He took this fight without hesitation, and he had no fear in his eyes. He wants it, he likes it, and he has a chance tonight to become the lightweight champion of the world.
Unbelievable. All right, well, also tonight, fellas, our co-headliner, Thug Rose Namajunas, title defense #1. It comes against the woman from whom she took the belt, Jimmy, the longest reigning former strawweight champion, Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Rose Namajunas gets to prove tonight that it wasn't just a great fight. I'm a great fighter. Known as a submission fighter before, great kickboxing against the champion Jedrzejczyk, knocked her down, the first knockout of her career. But what I like about this fight is she doesn't talk about the knockout. She says, I'm going to take her down, finish her, take her back, get the rear naked choke, all of her skills in play. She hasn't just caught the knockout bug. She's a complete mixed martial artist. She gets to show that lightning strikes twice.
She is fighting a woman who, up until that fight, was thought to be the greatest mixed martial artist in this division ever. Joanna Jedrzejczyk was a completely dominant champion. She's a multiple-time world Muay Thai champion. And she comes into this fight not just fighting to regain her title, but to cement her legacy. So much is on the line, and we will find out whether or not she has psychologically recovered from the beating Rose Namajunas gave her.
And this is a legitimate rivalry. The first fight lasted just over 3 minutes. Jedrzejczyk, Joe, with a total different approach to her weight management in advance of this one. We'll see if it pays dividends later tonight.
She certainly did prepare far better. She was at 122 pounds many days before the weigh-in. She's much healthier physically, and she thinks that was a primary factor in her loss.
All right, well, here in 2018, as many of you guys know, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the UFC by looking back at some history of the promotion, and it is recent history when it comes to this UFC Strawweight Championship that is at stake later tonight here in Brooklyn. You may recall Carla Esparza became the division's first champion. That was late 2014 with a win over the aforementioned Rose Namajunas. That, though, quickly gave way to the Jedrzejczyk era. Poland's Joanna decisively took the belt 3 months later. She'd go on a reign for nearly 1,000 days, 5 successful defenses before Thug Rose intervened. That was last November. She became the division's 3rd ever champion. That backdrop all serving to set up what is a monumental rematch here tonight in Brooklyn, New York. It's a short history, but this is our best division among the women here, 115.
Yeah, it's not just about the champions, not just about the challenger. I think this is the most stacked division in all of women's mixed martial arts. The winner tonight isn't just going to be the champ, but maybe one of the pound-for-pound best.
I agree. I mean, Jessica, Andrade, Claudia Gadelha, this is an outstanding weight class.
All right, we are here. We are ready to go on pay-per-view. A great night in store from Brooklyn. Here's what's coming up. The rest of the card is brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. He is one of Brazil's best hopes for UFC glory. Renato Moicano has won 3 of his first 4 in the big show to emerge in the top 15. He enters this spot after a fight of the night battle with Brian T. City Ortega last July. Tonight, Moicano draws the oncoming Massachusetts native Calvin Kattar, a freestyle fighter who has won 10 consecutive fights to emerge as a dangerous and viable UFC featherweight contender. The Mark Henry Ricardo Almeida trained Khabib Nurmagomedov is the biggest betting favorite on tonight's card, and given his first 2 UFC outings, it is not hard to see why. Tonight, Khabib goes for an 11th consecutive win against Kyle Bochniak, a powerful and conditioned athlete who produced the biggest win of his MMA career earlier this year in his native Boston. Let's get you the rules of the octagon. 3 judges score the bout. The bout duration is 3 5-minute rounds for championship fights and all UFC main events. We go 5 5-minute rounds. A 10-point must-scoring system is in effect. The round winner gets 10 points, his or her opponent 9 or fewer, and scoring is based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggression, and then finally octagon control in that order. Well, rejoice. The New York State Athletic Commission has adopted the newer set of unified rules. Those are in effect here tonight. We will also have the use of instant replay, but only for a fight-ending sequence. So once replay is invoked, that fight cannot be restarted. The officials have made the fighters aware. All right, with that, ready to go with the main card from Barclays Center. Great to have you with us tonight on pay-per-view. Two talented lightweights looking to get on track. Joe Lauzon and Chris Gritzmacher have arrived in Brooklyn intent on producing a win and putting on a show along the way. Tied with Nate Diaz for the most post-fight bonuses in UFC history. Joe Lauzon wouldn't mind breaking that tie tonight by producing another one of his trademark finishes against fellow veteran Chris Gritzmacher. Seeking a return to the form that saw him win his UFC debut back in 2015. Gritzmacher tonight is charged with vanquishing the New England favorite Lauzon, whose storied UFC run has seen him win 14 bouts in the Big Show against the best of the best, including Jens Pulver, Michael Chiesa, Diego Sanchez, and Takanori Gomi. Coming up next, Chris Gritzmacher takes on Joe Lauzon. Formerly with the MMA lab in his native Arizona, now training out of American Top Team in Coconut Creek, Florida. Here is Chris Gritzmacher making his fourth UFC appearance. And Joe, he was trying to get a fight at 145 pounds, maybe a short notice fight at lightweight. The call comes in for Joe Lauzon. That's a big name. Easy answer on the other end from Gritzmacher.
Yeah, it's a big name, and he's a guy that's really in desperate need of a win. I mean, he's coming off of 2 losses in a row in a talent-stacked 155-pound division, and he's stepping in there against a guy who's won so many bonuses, so many fights in the night. This is a tall order for him. A guy who's a real veteran in Joe Lauzon, a guy who's fought some of the very best fighters in the world.
Gritzmacher has always been, in his octagon career, the quintessential take 3 to give 1. I have faith in my chin. I'll walk through your offense. I'll let you punch yourself out trying to finish me. He's that kind of brawler. I don't see that changing tonight.
I agree with you.
Nice mix of knockouts and submissions for Chris Gritzmacher. 6 wins by knockout or TKO. All 3 of his submission wins have come by way of the armbar. He was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when the lab opened all the way back in 2007, and he got the bug something fierce shortly thereafter. He has split time in this training camp. You see a couple of ATT staples there, Dean Thomas and then Pahupa Marcos Damana, but he also spent part of his training camp in New Bern, North Carolina, and he actually drove here in advance of this fight tonight. So Chris Gritzmacher trying to get his first UFC win since his debut back in 2015.
One of the things you don't want to be in this sport is the guy with the name without the skills to back it up. You slow down a little bit. Gritzmacher's going to try and take advantage of the fact that Joe Lauzon has a lot of experience. That becomes a detriment at a certain point. He also has a lot of miles on him. Can Gritzmacher take advantage?
And for Gritzmacher, going into that Davi Ramos fight last December, he said, largely I was happy with the training, my ability to stop takedowns. I didn't put it all together, but something to build upon. We'll see if he can do just that tonight as a slight underdog against Joe Lauzon.
One point to that is that Davi Ramos is a world-class jiu-jitsu player.
Yeah.
World-class.
Fantastic.
So, Joe, you've had a front row seat for most of Joe Lauzon's 25 UFC fights, number 26 here tonight in Brooklyn.
I remember when Joe Lauzon made his UFC debut at 21 years of age and shocked the world by knocking out former champion Jens Pulver. And since then, he has been in some barn burners. He has outstanding submission skills, and he's not afraid to get into a brawl. And it's one of the reasons why he's won so many fight of the nights, performance of the nights. I mean, he's a fun dude to watch fight and a very, very intelligent young man. He's also extremely explosive. He dives on things. He goes for it. He's not a cautious or a safety-first fighter by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, that's been a problem a little bit. He's gotten in a lot of brawls that he shouldn't necessarily get in. He has very technical jiu-jitsu, great ground game, excellent submissions, yet he likes to stand and trade. We asked him, are you going to get back to your ground game? Are you going to work on your submissions? Like, Yeah, I think so. Like, you know, he's going to do whatever's entertaining, but I think he needs to rely on his jiu-jitsu a little bit more in this fight.
Well, his father let him have it after his last fight. He's like, fight where you're strongest. Take him down and submit him. He said, Dad, sometimes it's easier said than done. You expend energy chasing takedowns. It doesn't always materialize, but prevailing thought going in is that Lauzon's going to try to get back to his bread and butter and take this thing down.
I think we're going to have to accept the fact that Joe Lauzon likes to scrap.
Yeah.
He likes it. He likes the brawl. He likes to put himself in those positions. He's a smart guy.
Right.
If he didn't like it, he wouldn't do it.
No, it's true. And even as a submission grappler, he was aggressive. All right, this tale of the tape is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Joe Lauzon, 33 years old. Chris Gritzmacher is 31. Lauzon, the taller man by 2 inches. He will have a 3.5-inch reach advantage. All right, now to get us started for this first fight tonight on pay-per-view, we turn it over to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York for UFC 223, Khabib versus Iaquinta. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 13 wins, 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of New Bern, North Carolina, Chris Gritzmacher. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 27 wins, 15 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155.5 pounds. Fighting out of Bridgewater, Massachusetts, Joe Lauzon. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Dan Mergliata.
Dan Mergliata, third man in the octagon for this one. Ariane Celeste getting us started here for round 1 of a possible 3 in the UFC lightweight division. Brittany Palmer, Chrissy Blair in the building as well. And with that touch of gloves, we are underway. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
Lauzon opening up strong, big shots.
What about grappling? What did we say about that? Throw that right out the window. Forget we said that.
We just have to accept that Joe Lauzon loves this.
And we have to accept that we love it. Come on.
For sure.
Well, New England MMA has never had as much momentum in the UFC as it does right now, and Lauzon really has taken the lead and feels the pressure to lead that charge. Got a couple teammates competing later tonight as well.
But Gritzmacher, once again, I'll take your 3 or 4 in order to give mine back. He has a lot of faith in his chin.
And Lauzon clearly knows that that's his style, and he's moving towards him, obliging him.
Oh, beautiful
right here.
Shot from Lauzon. Gritzmacher sprawls. 1 minute gone by round 1.
But here's the jiu-jitsu.
There you go. Push him off. Push him off.
Using those butterflies. He's going to have to commit to his side.
Lift you up. Stay heavy.
Butterfly guard, almost always a sweeper's guard. Looking to choose one side and sweep. He's scooting to his left.
Don't let him up. Put your wheel in. Yes. Now.
No commitment yet to either side.
Gritzmacher just keeping heavy on him, keeping those heavy hips. Oh, lifts him and back up. But Gritzmacher, great job keeping him down, keeping control of that neck.
Good elevation, but couldn't get him over. Lauzon has to stay mobile in this position. You want to be on your butt and be a sitting target.
Those are good right hands to the body.
Man.
Good stuff.
Ooh.
Rolling knee bar position.
Oh, he's going in on it. He's going in on it.
Now heel hook, he throws his other leg over. Gritzmacher, he's planning that leg. That's what you need to do in these positions. Put all the weight on the leg that's being attacked. Good job defensively.
Lauzon could also use this as a sweep. Oh, he's going for the heel.
He's going all the way.
Oh, he's got it hooked up. He doesn't have his legs connected, though.
Yeah,
he's going to try to push off with that left leg. Oh, Gritsmacher out, but right back on top of him. Very nicely done. But Lauzon back up, eats a knee.
Good timing on the pullout by Gritsmacher.
Oh, nice knee.
Lauzon doing great stuff with his power shots so far.
Lauzon's last fight was against Clay Guida in November. Just felt like he deviated from his routine a little bit, cut the warm-up short, and that led to his demise that night. Nice elbow over the top from Lauzon.
Well, that's not giving enough credit to Clay Guida.
True.
Clay Guida led to his demise that night.
And Clay Guida, a very fast starter. If you don't feel like something's on, Clay Guida's not going to give you any chance to right the ship, and he didn't.
Yeah, Clay does everything fast. I think he gets out of bed fast.
He doesn't comb his hair fast. That's a lot of hair, man.
He doesn't even bother.
From two bald guys.
He's too busy.
Whatever. We know little about hair today at the broadcast booth.
I remember.
It's not our specialty.
My youth.
Lauzon turned pro all the way back in 2004, submitted Mike Brown in his first year as a pro, but the last submission for Joe Lauzon, somewhat surprisingly, August of 2012.
Been a long time. Neither one of these guys thinking defense. They're doing a lot of reaching, opening themselves up to strikes. Nobody really moving their head.
Yeah, Joe has started to slow down and be much more stationary here towards the last minute of this round, and he's eating some big shots because of it. He's breathing heavy, and Gritsmacher looks to be the man that's more relaxed here and in better shape. Perhaps that's because of his faith in his chin.
Yeah.
Oh, big uppercut by Gritsmacher.
And follows it up with a knee to the body. Those strikes getting Lauzon's attention.
When he fought Davy Ramos almost had him finished and kind of punched himself out. Let Gritsmacher back into the fight. Looks like that could be happening right now.
Chris is very relaxed here.
Yeah.
Nice jab, nice right hand. Oh.
Brutal body punches. Great stuff to do in the first round.
Oh, good right hand, good uppercut. He's clearly getting the better of these exchanges now. Whereas Lauzon came on real strong at the beginning of the round, he has died off here. Badly faded towards the end of the first round.
Oh, and a nice elbow there for good measure. The eyes don't lie. Chris Gritsmacher confident there at the end of round one. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by Body Armor. Time to ditch your artificial sports drink and switch to Body Armor. More natural, more electrolytes, better sports drink. Grab yours at participating Speedway stores. Body Armor, the official sports drink of the UFC.
I know he did a good job at the first takedown, but remember what we talked about. Just keep going at it. Take some water.
He might switch up his feet, too. He switches it up. Single leg. Not double leg, drive up to the body lock.
A lot of chaos in that round. First, Lauzon. Lauzon starts off very fast. Beautiful elbow. Landed a lot of strikes. There's a nice knee. But Grits started digging in towards the end of that round and really started taking it to Joe Lauzon. Here's a big uppercut from Gritsmacher, and Lauzon was very stationary, really tired towards the end of that first round, and Chris was all over him.
All right, second round, gentlemen, second round, let's go.
Gritsmacher landed 103 significant strikes in his UFC debut, a win over Abner Loveris. He landed 57 in round one there against Joe Lauzon.
A telling thing at the end of the first round, Gritsmacher walked back to his corner and was literally pacing. Didn't want to sit down, full of energy. And he looks like he's worn those shots well.
And Lauzon's face is a mess of swelling and just does not look good. And he ate a right hand.
Oh.
Later in his career, with all the wars that Joe Lauzon has had, what concerns me the most is he doesn't seem to recover as well.
Right.
Yeah. His ability to bounce back just isn't what it was early in his career. He looks exhausted.
But he still fights the same way. He hasn't made an adjustment in his style, but it seems like he's not as durable, and now he's bleeding. Some significant swelling around the right eye and some bleeding, and he's wincing. It looks like a cut.
This is the kind of fight Gritzmacher loves attrition. You hit me with everything you had. Now it's my turn to come back, and he's doing it.
Right.
He is, and Joe's in a lot of trouble here. He's busted up. His right eye looks terrible, and Gritzmacher doing a great job of mixing it up to the body as well. Good uppercut. Another left to the body, right to the body. Knees. Joe's in trouble here. He's in real trouble.
We're seeing signs of, I don't want to say physical surrender yet, but he's in a lot of trouble.
Right.
I think his body's shutting down a bit. I just think he's had a long, long career filled with a lot of fights like this, and I don't know how many of these you could have.
Yeah. 43rd pro fight for Joe Lauzon, who will be 34 next month.
A fighter's biggest strength is often his biggest weakness. Joe Lauzon is an exciting fighter who loves to mix it up. That's why we love him, but you end up paying the price for that.
And Lauzon still trying to press forward with some offense of his own, but Chris Gritzmacher putting it on him here tonight.
Do you see that knee that he just threw? I mean, there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it left right now. I mean, even these punches that he's throwing, he ate a hard knee there. Gritzmacher is in far better condition right here.
And Gritzmacher not showing that these punches from Lauzon are affecting him at all. He's walking right through him.
Right through him. And very patient. There's a nice knee to the body, and Lauzon's just, he's not moving away. He's just standing right in front of him and eating these.
And Gritzmacher never a one-punch KO kind of guy. It's attrition.
Lauzon with a combination. Crowd getting behind the Bostonian.
Those are not landing very clean, though, and there's not a lot on them. Nice front kick to the body by Gritzmacher. I mean, he's flailing with his arms, but there's just nothing to them here.
Right.
There's a lot of heart behind him, but not a lot of snap.
2 minutes now to go in the round.
And Joe Lauzon's face is an absolute mess.
Nasty knee to the body there by Gritz.
He has landed a ton to the body, has worked the elbows and the knees, right back to it there.
Yeah, great job with punches to the body. I think those punches to the body are pretty significant.
The head punches can knock you out, but the body shots are the ones that make you quit.
And Lauzon's firing back, but he's a shell of what he was at the beginning of the first round. And his face is a mask of blood right now.
Doctor gonna take a long, hard look at Lauzon if he gets to that stool.
If I was his corner, I'd take a long, hard look at him too.
Yeah. You should think about it. They should think about stopping this fight right now. I mean, look at his face. And he's just eating shots.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to win, but it just doesn't seem like his weapons are available to him.
Nasty cut now on the forehead that's trickling into that right eye, which is almost shut. Less than a minute now to go on the round.
I mean, you never want to count a warrior like Joe Lauzon out, but I just hate to see a guy who's as smart as he is take this kind of beating.
He's being too tough for his own good right now.
Bachelor's in computer science from Wentworth in Boston. This is a cerebral cat.
Man, look at his face. Oh.
Gritzmacher still hitting with a lot of authority.
Gritzmacher can stop this fight. He can stop this fight if he just pours it on here. Nice knee to the body. I like how he's just not stopping with the body attack. He's not head hunting.
Oh, that one hurt him.
It did.
Doubled him over.
But again, Lauzon just almost too tough for his own good.
Right.
If he went down right now, this would be over, but he won't go down.
Yeah. Last 10 seconds of the round here. Another elbow lands for Gritzmacher.
This is awful.
Mergliata appears maybe close. Well, round ends.
And an excellent performance by Gritzmacher. I mean, very patient, very professional, doing a great job of keeping the pressure on him. And again, never stopping with that body attack.
Look at the eyes of Joe Lauzon. If we can see them, they are both pretty much swollen shut.
I hope they're saying they're stopping the fight. I hope Steve Mays. Thank you, Steve.
And that's the way to do it. And I think a lot of corner men should.
Classy.
Look what Steve Mays did tonight. Went to whisper to Joe Lauzon to not make it public. So the corner man saving his fighter tonight. And it marks the biggest win of the career for Chris Gritzmacher.
An excellent win, and I could not agree more with their decision to stop this fight. And I'm very, very impressed with Chris Gritzmacher. That performance was excellent. Just the way he mixed it up to the body, constant pressure. I mean, he did a fantastic job tonight.
What you look for at the elite level is consistency. Gritsmacher showed consistency with his attack tonight.
And he really feels like he has found his future training home, and you certainly saw it in the results tonight.
It's paying off. Joe Lauzon, aggressive in the beginning, but after, I would say, the first half of the first round, it was all Gritsmacher, mixing up the body shots, the punches, hooks, uppercuts, over the top to the ribs, but never giving Joe Lauzon the space he needed to get his defense going, to get his offense going. He just swarmed him.
Dean Thomas, new head coach for Chris Gritsmacher. Got to be happy with the results here tonight. Pahumpa in there as well. And man, did he put it on Joe Lauzon tonight, landing at a 64% clip. Unofficially 125 significant strikes landed for Chris Gritsmacher. And we'll see if Joe Lauzon chooses to fight another day, man. 43 pro fights in the can. All right, the official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round 2, the red corner has called a stop to this contest, declaring the winner by TKO, Chris Gritsmacher.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Chris Gritsmacher. First of all, Chris, congratulations on an excellent performance against a really tough guy in Joe Lauzon, and possibly the biggest victory of your career.
No, without a doubt, man. I needed this win. You know, we're all trying to make a living, man, but money aside, man, I need this win for my soul, man. I need this for my heart. I needed a win, man.
Well, you were very composed and very professional in there tonight. Joe Lauzon came out fast. You moved away from a lot of the shots and started really working the body as well as the head. Was that body part, the body attack part, a big part of your training?
I mean, I train boxing, I do Muay Thai, so I mean, that's just kind of what I do, but everybody, head, body, how you beat people up, man. Make them tired, hit them in the body. Want to hit them in the head, go to the body. I think it's just intelligent fighting.
Now, towards the end of the second round, you had him battered and exhausted and really not firing back. Were you surprised at all they stopped that fight?
No, man, I kind of was hoping for it because, like, I could feel him, man. Like, he wasn't going down yet, but I knew I was going to do it in the third, man. I knew it. I knew I was going to win this fight.
Well, listen, man, congratulations. Enjoy your biggest victory to date. Outstanding performance tonight. Chris Gritsmacher, ladies and gentlemen.
Second UFC win for Chris Gritsmacher here tonight. He cashes as a plus 135 underdog in Brooklyn.
It's in Riding Academy. Live your legend. And there he is, arguably the most dominant force in the game at present. Russia's Khabib Nurmagomedov. 9-0 in the UFC, 25-0 overall. Tonight, at long last, he gets the chance to bolster his MMA legacy with that elusive UFC lightweight championship. But instead of facing Tony Ferguson or Max Holloway, he will take on that man, raging Iaquinta. Winner of 5 straight overall and 8 of his last 9, Iaquinta is a proud, no-nonsense New Yorker, and one who spent much of Friday campaigning for this, an opportunity of a lifetime tonight. Let's see if Raging Al can be the first to handle Khabib. Well, our next pay-per-view will be 5 weeks from tonight, as the Octagon returns to the MMA hotbed that is Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This look ahead to UFC 224, Nunes versus Pennington, is brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
All the champions.
It's a dream matchup for fight fans. 2 of the very best in all of women's MMA.
All the action.
Oh!
What a night we have in store.
Raquel Pennington, a very tough matchup for anybody.
All the hype. All the greatness.
Amanda Nunes is a savage. She is a killer.
Every punch, kick, block, and submission as close as you can get without stepping foot in the octagon. Are you ready for the games to begin? EA Sports UFC 3.
Nunes Pennington, your headliner, May 12th in Rio de Janeiro. These UFC Women's Bantamweight rankings brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So Joe, Raquel Pennington earning her first championship opportunity. She's made a lot of strides as a fighter. We'll see what she has for Amanda Nunes in about 5 weeks.
One of the toughest in the division. You got to go back to her split decision loss to Holly Holm and UFC debut of Holm. Look, Raquel Pennington, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated and underappreciated fighters in any weight class. She's tough as nails. She's got a well-rounded approach. She's got very good boxing, and we saw that in her victory over Miesha Tate.
Right.
I just think she's one of the best in the division. But Amanda Nunes is a straight-up killer. She has vicious punches and a long reach. She keeps women on the end of that reach with knockout power. She's got nasty snap in her punches, and she's got that championship confidence.
She does.
You got to close the distance on her, and as we saw in the Ronda Rousey fight, you got to eat a hail of knuckles to get in there.
And she will certainly be buoyed by that Rio crowd as well. May 12th, UFC 224, when we return to pay-per-view next month. All right, but now with his back against the wall in Boston, Kyle Bochniak came up large. Now he will look to put a dent in the plans of perhaps the hottest prospect in the sport, Khabib Nurmagomedov. With much fanfare, rising featherweight star Khabib Nurmagomedov makes his return to the octagon in Brooklyn tonight as he faces Boston's Kyle Bochniak. Riding a 10-fight winning streak and the owner of back-to-back performance bonuses for UFC finishes of Mike Santiago and Shimon Moraes, Nurmagomedov didn't have a long line of fighters willing to step up and fight him. But don't count Bochniak among the unwilling. And after his January win over Brandon Davis, he promptly accepted this call and chases his third UFC win here tonight. Coming up next, Kyle Crash Bochniak meets Khabib Nurmagomedov. So here is the 31-year-old Kyle Bochniak making the walk tonight for his 5th UFC appearance, representing Broadway Jiu-Jitsu. His head coach, John Clark. Of course, the legend Peter Welch in his corner as well. And Jimmy, big win against Brandon Davis back in January. Bochniak makes the quick turn here tonight.
I liked his stand-up in that fight. I liked his aggression. I liked his versatility. He cut angles well against a very tough brawler, and he finished strong in every round. I liked everything I saw. And also, the Boston fighters that night were on another level. He said, I felt the energy. It really pushed me forward. He has a big challenge in front of him tonight.
Also, he knows that he's coming into this fight an underdog, and he knows this is an opportunity to steal some of the shine from one of the hottest up-and-coming prospects in this talent-filled featherweight division. He has an awesome opportunity in front of him tonight, and he knows it. And many fighters rise to the level of their opposition. I think that is one thing that Kyle Bochniak has, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very excited about this fight.
It's a very good point, and there was a long list of guys that turned down the fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Bochniak stepped right up. This is a plus athlete for sure, former football player, and had he not gone to jail around 22 years old, this is a guy who felt like he could have gotten a full ride to play football in college. He says he put all of his focus into mixed martial arts. He says, that is now my vice. I don't drink, I don't smoke. This is his life. And tonight, an opportunity to take out the minus 650 favorite, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Kyle Bochniak touching down on that octagon here in Brooklyn tonight. So here he is, the 27-year-old Khabib Nurmagomedov, third UFC appearance here tonight. And Jimmy Smith, the first two largely could not have gone any better.
Most guys with his build, almost 6'2", 145 pounds, aren't this fast. They're not this explosive. They don't move this well. This guy has overwhelmed opponents, especially on the ground. I love what I've seen from his jiu-jitsu, his confidence, his movement, his transitions. And ladies and gentlemen, I have cracked the code in MMA. The more Magomeds you have in your name, the better ass you are. Somewhere there is a Nurmagomedov, and he's going to come to UFC. He's in junior high right now. He's gonna smoke everybody. Mic drop.
And there's something in the water in Dagestan. Dude. I don't know what it is, but these guys are savages. I mean, we're talking about a small area that has some of the best world-class fighters, including the guy who's fighting for the title tonight, who might be the best of all the best.
Right. Well, Magomed Sharipov essentially believes right now he would be competitive with the elite. I asked him about Max Holloway. He said, I'll beat that guy next weekend, right? He brings that confidence into the octagon with him here tonight. And his chief corner, Mark Henry, is largely sticking around, I think, for extra years because he thinks he might have a UFC champion on his hands. This guy trains all day, every day.
You can talk about the height, you can talk about the range. A lot of fighters are tall or ranging for their weight class. They're usually not this explosive. They're usually not this fast. They usually don't transition this well. It's not just the length of, oh, he's tall, he's rangy. A lot of fighters are, but don't move like this kid.
Yeah, he's got an excellent combination of ranginess, but also strength. I mean, even his build. He's long and skinny, but he's also muscular. And he does everything great. He's got great kickboxing. He's got a lot of traditional martial arts techniques like wheel kicks and spinning back kicks. He can do everything. And his submission game and his wrestling game are also world class. This kid's a special talent.
And he will be looking to prove as much and live up to the hype yet again tonight. With that backdrop, this Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Magomed Sharipov out of Dagestan, 27. The Bostonian Kyle Bochniak is 31. You see the discrepancy in height, less pronounced in the reach department, where Magomed Sharipov will enjoy a 3-inch advantage. All right, now for the official introductions, back inside of Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a pit fighter, holding a professional record, 8 wins, 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Boston, Massachusetts, Kyle Bochniak. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 14 wins, 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 1 and 1/2 inches tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, Zabit Magomed-Sharipov. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Rob Hines.
Rob Hines, our referee for this one. The beautiful Brittany Palmer with us tonight in Brooklyn, New York. Great to have you with us on pay-per-view.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. First round ready?
And this
First
fight
round, ready?
being added to pay-per-view here during Fight Week. Let's see if these guys can take advantage. Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
And Kyle Bochniak, very aggressive, closing that distance, trying to mitigate that reach advantage, and bobbing and weaving like Mike Tyson here.
Appropriate for New York. It's the right strategy, closing the distance on the taller guy.
Yeah, it certainly is. The difference is, in these two and the way they move, that Kyle Bochniak does everything very well, whereas Zabit is elite. He's elite in his movements, elite in his striking. It doesn't mean that Kyle can't crack him, but it means it's a tough puzzle to solve.
One thing though,
look at that side kick.
You don't get into a technique battle with a technician. You brawl him. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah. And that's a smart move, I believe. Standing on the outside with this really long guy who's got fantastic striking is a terrible idea. But look how calm Zabit is.
That's it, man. The composure, the fluidity for a relative UFC newcomer, less than a year on the roster. Looks the part, man.
I think when you grow up in Dagestan, this is nothing.
Look, you ask what's in the water. They don't have any. Okay, when you grow up and you're hungry and you're fighting to live, this isn't going to scare you, man.
Right.
Blood's in the water.
Yeah, 100%.
10 straight wins for Magomed Sharipov. He has finished his last 8 victories.
Ooh. Man, Kyle felt that one. Look at his right
elbow went down.
That right arm immediately protected those ribs. Ooh. Oh, nice. Oh, man, he is swinging for the bleachers.
So the experts to my right like the approach for Kyle Bochniak out of the chute. Just over 3 minutes to go here, round 1.
The composure and the technique is what's most impressive. Look at that spin into the right, the left hook, and then the right spinning back kick.
And look at the composure, just relaxed, Seeing what's in front of him.
Like a world champion, really. Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Went with the Sanchai. And some speed on that, too, baby.
And how many times does Sanchai recover and land on his feet? Not a lot. Love Sanchai, but he can fall and they'll start him up again.
Yeah, that's the difference,
right? Beautiful. Look him up, kids, if you don't know Sanchai Sir Kingstar.
Nurmagomedov Sharipov, lifelong athlete, started freestyle wrestling at 10 years old. Coming up on 20 years of combat sports experience.
There's a big advantage with that reach, man. That is a frustrating thing to try to get in on a guy that tall at 145 pounds.
And look at all the head movement that was there early in the fight. All the head movement, a lot of it's gone away. That takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of torso moving, a lot of bob, a lot of explosion. Look at the mark on the right side of his ribs of Kyle Bochniak from that left kick.
Under 2 minutes now to go in the round. Bochniak sticks the jab.
So far, Bochniak showing no fear, stepping forward.
He's a tough dude, 100%. Oh, Jesus. Look at that. Jumping switch kick.
But right back to his feet. That's the impressive thing to me. Not throwing it, the recovery's so fast. A lot of guys can throw that. You wind up on your butt.
Bochniak is essentially just bobbing and weaving, trying to punch, whereas he's got to close so much more distance. If he had a better kicking game, he'd be able to work that leg, especially that left front leg. Oh, man. Phenomenal high kick there.
Wrapped it right around that right ear of Kyle Bochniak.
It's the way he's doing it, too. It's so fluid.
When you talk to Mark Henry and Ricardo Almeida about this guy, they just light up.
You want to talk about an underrated coach. Mark Henry is one of the best of the best.
Fantastic.
And such a mind for fighting.
Well, the kicking game, big part of the repertoire for Zabit. He has landed 16 and counting here in round 1.
And Ricardo Almeida, decent jiu-jitsu, you know. Pretty good on that side of the spectrum. Got to give him some love.
Oh, man. This guy is so fast. And again, always in good position. Even if he misses, he's always ready to fire back.
And the hard part is getting ready for a guy like this. I need a 145-pounder who's almost 6'2" and this quick. You're not going to find this kind of sparring partners. You're just not.
Yeah, you're not. And if you find a guy who's as good as him on the ground, you're not going to find a guy who's as good as him on the feet and not as good in transitions. I mean, he's got a very advanced game.
Zabit thought about a late shot. Both guys connect in that exchange. Strong 5 minutes between Nurmagomedov Sharipov and Bochniak.
This for me, a guy who loves technique, this is a pleasure to watch a guy like this move around. The kicks of Zabit. Look at this switch kick. Dude, that's hard to do. And to do it, look at that, wrap that left leg around the head of Kyle Bochniak and give Kyle credit for being a tough bastard because he took that,
You're starting
moving.
to keep bad distance. Okay, the bad distance is when he can set up and start to tee off. He doesn't like the pressure, but when you move forward, you've got to be changing levels up and down. Touch the body, then come upstairs because he's just fading. Pete.
You got him with 2 punches, Kyle. Easy. You're not finishing with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You're letting them off the hook. The 1st, 2nd gets you in. 3rd, 4th takes them out.
Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by Body Armor. Time to ditch your artificial sports drink and switch to Body Armor. More natural, more electrolytes, better sports drink. Grab yours at participating Speedway stores. Body Armor, the official sports drink of the UFC. And Joe, this is the first time you've seen Zabit live. I know you saw his previous fight, right? So
yes, I'm very impressed, and I was looking forward to this. Very much so, and it's living up to the hype 100%. And there is a difference when you see someone in the flesh, when you can gauge it with your eyes in real time, you go, oh yeah, you're looking at something special.
Yeah. Bochniak starting round 2 similarly to the way he started round 1.
I mean, he's as game as they come.
And Bochniak's corner advice wasn't wrong. Get in there, you're at the wrong range. Hit him with more than 2 or 3. You got to throw a lot of combinations to get inside on a tall guy, but easier said than done.
Was Bochniak just taking a page out of Max Holloway's book?
I think he did. He asked him to stand right in front. And Zabit's like, nah, I'll just kick you in the ribs, dude.
Don't expect a fighter from Dagestan to get all emotional on you.
Yeah, look at that beautiful duck under.
Man.
Oh, man. And again, Zabit can do this just as well as he can strike. This is what's crazy about this guy.
And when they're this close, you see the size difference. Khabib is a giant at 145.
Yeah, just really unusually built. Look at that, kick that leg out, gets the hook, triangles it up behind his knee. Woo, man,
great mat return, great mat return.
Oh man, this dude is so good. He's so good, man.
That easy transition, body lock to double leg. A lot of people would have gone high and given that up, gone back to the clinch. He immediately changes level.
And we have to realize that we're looking at a guy who's only had 2 fights in the octagon. Right. This is his 3rd MMA fight in the UFC, and he's yet to face world-class opposition. But what you're seeing from him is world-class talent.
Right. Well, and largely a lot of the world-class competition doesn't want much to do with this guy.
Yeah, he's a very avoided guy, and you're seeing why. And again, me watching it at home, I was impressed. But me watching it live, I'm like, oh, okay. It's everything. It's the way it's all glued together. It's not just the kicks and the punches, it's the way they flow together.
The people who really follow this sport were thrilled this fight moved up.
Right.
Yes. I was personally like, man, you got to see this. Yes. I was telling everybody I knew, you got to see this and tune in early. Now it's on the main card.
And again, I like the fact that Bokniak is the one that's fighting him, because this kid's a stud. Look at him.
Bokniak jumped in the hands.
That's craziness. Pointed at his chin, come get it.
He's an animal. Oh, and he tagged him with the right hand there. He just doesn't have enough weapons. His wrestling's not as sharp. His punches are his main weapon, and he doesn't complement them enough with kicks.
But what he does have, he's throwing.
Yes.
A lot of pride behind that.
And what he does have is heart.
Yeah.
Unquestionable heart. And this dude is trying to win this fight. He's just a little outgunned right now.
2 minutes now to go in this second round.
But a lesser fighter, I'm sorry, would be showing physical surrender at this point. You know, backing up, going, man, just want this over with. Kyle Bokniak does it. He wants to fight.
Right. A lesser fighter would be trying to avoid damage. Kyle Bokniak is wading into the fire. Look at that. Hands down, cocky. I mean, he's trying to goad this guy into a war where he gets him. Oh, come on, son.
Too good.
Come on. But look at this. Bokniak fighting off his back, grabbing a hold of that wrist.
You sound almost disappointed, Joe. How did he do that? That's
no,
great
that was
stuff.
like, come on, like I'm confused.
That is, I got to learn that. That's what that is.
That was beautiful.
Going back to the gym.
I'm 100% going to watch this fight and see that again afterwards.
It's not there. Armbar's just not deep enough. Hips aren't in the right place. Going to Maplata,
but he used it to get back up to his feet. Bokniak's an animal.
Some pretty significant swelling now that Bokniak will have to deal with. Less than a minute here to go round 2.
But like Khabib does not have to worry about leg kicks. Khabib does not have to worry about doubles. You know what I'm saying? It's like Bokniak is a tough dude, but he just doesn't have a well-rounded arsenal.
Not a submission threat per se.
There's a takedown attempt.
Way
easily
too far
stuck.
outside. Way too far outside. When you have to worry about 2 weapons, your opponent has to worry about 7. It's a different kind of fight.
Yeah. Oh, look at that spinning back fist. Oh, caught him with a knee, stepping in.
Bokniak just out of range with that right hand. Still trying to close the distance. Khabib sticks and moves.
Man. Oh. Man. That last one cut the forehead very badly. Look at Kyle Bokniak's forehead.
And it was caused by the volume of strikes, everything working out for Magomed Sharipov. Look at this mat return, beautiful stuff. And look at this outside trip, man, gorgeous. Right to his back. Look at this beautifully timed knee right to the jaw. A lot of fighters would be quitting, would be folding, would be thinking about their next fight. but not Kyle Bochniak.
Yeah, don't do it. I need more punches, and I need your feet to come with you. Okay. I need the feet, and straighten that fucking right hand out, Pete.
Wait a minute now, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
You gotta move your head before you punch this time. This is where the difference is.
Move your head before you punch.
Right in the way. You gotta dip, and then you gotta rip.
Second
Slip
out.
and rip, baby. Slip and rip.
Second
Move your
out.
head before you punch.
Make it happen, Kyle. Make it happen, Kyle.
The Gloucester, Massachusetts native Kyle Bochniak, one tough customer, and some pointed advice there, guys, I would think, from John Clark and Peter Welsh.
I mean, they're doing what they can to get their fighter tactically back in this fight. His heart's there, his guts are there. Tactically, he needs to find his own offense.
Yeah, listen, I'll take this over everything else. You can teach a guy skills. You can't teach a guy to be this. What Kyle Bochniak is a savage. Look at him. The kid's taking a beating for 2 rounds, gets off his chair and gives us a Ric Flair.
And now that forehand leaking pretty good for Bochniak.
There's another one.
You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. That's what Kyle Bochniak's trying to do.
This kid has a very, very strong mind. There's no question about that. It's just doesn't have all the weapons. He's got good hands, but he's at a reach disadvantage with a guy who's more explosive and crisper technically. And he doesn't have a lot of kicks. Oh, man, look at that.
Perfect timing on that. Caught him coming in with a spinning kick and shortened up on it. Bent his leg just enough to catch him on the chin.
Look at that. And timed that perfectly. But you just see such a well-rounded arsenal from this guy.
I'm telling you, this fight is worth the admission price tonight.
The oohs and ahs reverberating throughout this Barclays Center. Bochniak thought about grabbing the fence there, thought better of it.
And you haven't seen any of that. Why won't this guy go away? Kind of frustration.
Right.
He always resets. Zabit never seems to get demoralized by the fact that he's throwing a lot of punches and his opponent's still in front of him. He's still very, very focused. Both these guys, unbelievably strong mentally.
Yeah, I think Zabit is showing just an overall well-roundedness. Mentally, physically, very, very impressive. I want to see him against a top 10 contender next.
I think everybody does, Joe, after this.
And he's trying to talk to the referee. Look, Kyle's like, come on, man, he's not doing anything. He's trying to con the referee into letting him stand up.
He's in bad position, he knows it.
And despite the beating, Bochniak would appear to have plenty left in the tank.
Oh, yeah. Look at this. Turns around, and nope. Denied.
Just sticky with the takedown. Top pressure right after he takes him down, doesn't let him off the hook.
Already 10 shots in this fight from Zabit Magomedsharipov. He has landed 6 of those takedown attempts.
And we would not be seeing such a well-rounded overall game if it wasn't for the heart of Kyle Bochniak. Yep. The fact that Kyle is hanging in there, it's making Zabit pull out everything he has and show us his full game. That's what's so exciting about this. It takes 2 to tango. Look at that. Just everything he's got to get up.
And Zabit stays right on him.
Right on him.
And perhaps Bochniak thinking if he can survive these final 2 minutes.
He shook him off. Look out for the leg, though. Peel that leg away.
And look at beautiful stand-up, wrist control, great wrestling stand-up. Bochniak trying to keep that physical pressure on. He's got to pull him back to get anything done. Has to free his left hand.
Zabit must be very strong to be able to hold on to that arm for so long with one hand.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Four-time Russian champion in integrated combat, making his 3rd UFC appearance here tonight. He has been must-see TV every step of the way.
Look at that.
Pretty good level change there. Bochniak snuffed it out, though.
He's showing some signs of slowing down. He's human with a minute to go.
Yeah, check the clock there. It reads 1 minute in this 3rd and final round.
If Bochniak was going to turn it on and get this fight back, it's got to be now in the last minute. Like you said, Joe, it's the first time Zabit has looked human.
Brook Brooklyn crowd getting behind these two warriors.
Oh, Bokniak coming back. Zabit looked at the clock again.
What a rocky story this would be. Only 30 seconds left.
Deep breath from Bokniak. We'll see if he's got one final flurry here.
Bokniak coming on strong. He connected with that right hand. Oh!
Spinning from Zabit.
Look at this. Oh! This is crazy.
What a fight! They are standing and cheering at Barclays Center. Zabit Nurmagomedov.
We're all standing up. That was a pleasure.
I don't see anyone sitting down right now, and they shouldn't be.
Woo!
Incredible.
That was amazing.
And maybe Kyle Bokniak will get an extra 50 G's for his efforts seemingly in defeat tonight, but you knew Zabit was the real deal, and you got to think Bokniak's fan base is going to swell as well after this one. What a fight.
That was amazing. That was amazing from both guys. And here's Zabit with a beautiful left kick to the body. Here's that switch kick. And Kyle showing good defense there. There's that jump spinning back kick to the chest. And here's one of the takedowns. And look at this beautiful trip. I mean, come on. The timing in that was phenomenal. This guy really, truly is special. Here's the end. What an animal Kyle Bokniak is. After 3 rounds to go in a war, he's still pouring it on with seconds to go. Absolutely phenomenal fight.
You want to be fight of the night? You got to top this. And that's going to be hard to do.
And could you imagine if that had been the first fight of the night as was initially scheduled, as fight week began?
It's all I would be talking about right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling, every fight we'd go, man, we'd be referencing it every minute of this card.
All right, the official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast, nationwide LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 29-28, 30-27, and 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Zabit Nurmagomedov.
I'm here with the winner, Zabit Nurmagomedov, but before I congratulate you, I want to say thank you to Kyle Bokniak and thank you to you for one of the best fights. Phenomenal. And Kyle, you have tremendous heart. It was an honor to call that fight. Thank you very much. Zabit, that was what I would call a world championship caliber performance tonight.
Забит, я бы назвал это сегодня титульным, бой за чемпионский титул.
Спасибо. Я, как говорил Кайл, непростой соперник с характером, который идет до конца. Спасибо Кайлу, что он принял бой. Со мной многие не соглашались. 5 моих соперников отказались. Спасибо, Кайл, за этот бой.
As I told before, he is a very tough opponent. I just want to say thanks him for taking this fight because 5 opponents refused to fight me.
Well, we saw why by your performance tonight, but it takes a guy as tough as Kyle to bring out a performance like that in you. But what you showed tonight is true technical brilliance.
Скажи свою.
Dana White, Sean Shelby, who is next?
What did you say?
Dana.
Who is next?
Who is next? Who is next? Well, we would like you to face someone in the top 10, someone who's highly ranked. I'm sure you would like that as well.
Yair Rodriguez. Давай сделаем это в сентябре в Москве.
Yair Rodriguez, yes. Look, this.
Yair Rodriguez, let's do it in Moscow in September.
That would be a phenomenal fight. Look, Zabit, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Khabib, иншалла победа, брат. Давай.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing performance. Khabib Nurmagomedov, not just an unbelievable performance, but an unbelievable fight. Two warriors. If you don't like that fight, you don't like MMA, you don't like combat sports. It had everything. Beautiful technique from Khabib, incredible heart by Bokniak, nothing missing there.
Ladies and gentlemen in attendance here at Barclays Center and those watching around the world, earlier this year, the UFC's longtime producer, Bruce Connell, passed away unexpectedly. Tonight, we are proud to announce that Bruce will be our first inductee into the UFC Hall of Fame class of 2018. He will be inducted into the Contributors Wing in July during International Fight Week. And in the crowd tonight, we are honored to have Bruce's family with us, his wife Karen, daughter Carly, and son Trevor. Well, Joe Rogan, for my money, there are few men or women more deserving. We congratulate Brucey and, of course, the entire Connell family on Bruce's induction into the Hall of Fame later this year.
He was an amazing producer and a great friend. And, you know, I mean, I really can't say anything without crying. I love that guy. He's an amazing person and loved by everybody. And I just can't say enough good things about him.
This was the man that was at the controls for nearly every big show that you ever called, and certainly for me, and fitting that Bruce Connell ends up in the UFC Hall of Fame in that Contributors Wing. He will be inducted during International Fight Week on that Thursday night before our two live events on July 5th. And Jimmy, I know you didn't get a chance to work with Bruce, but you were certainly looking forward to that opportunity.
And I worked with his kids, Tyler and Trevor, for a lot of years, and my heart goes out to them. Great kids. I love you guys.
All right, up next, back to the action. It will be a featured bout at featherweight between a couple of ranked contenders, Renato Moicano and Calvin Kattar. Kattar's been the betting underdog in his first two UFC appearances. He was a favorite most of the week. This one tightened up, some late action on Moicano. It closes as a pick'em tonight between the number 11 and number 13 ranked featherweights in the world. Well, our next pay-per-view will be on May 12th. It'll be headlined by Amanda Nunes and Raquel Pennington. What's coming up? Brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So UFC 224, Nunes versus Pennington, exactly 5 weeks from tonight. And we have officially stacked the deck in Rio.
That's a fantastic card, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, you got the Bantamweight Championship of the World. Amanda Nunes, one of the scariest women to ever fight in MMA, versus one of the toughest, most underrated challengers, and Raquel Pennington, a very well-rounded fighter. Jacare Souza, one of the top 3 or 4 greatest jiu-jitsu artists to ever compete in MMA, taking on Kelvin Gastelum, who's looked nothing short of sensational at 185 pounds. Mackenzie Dern, jiu-jitsu ace, taking on Amanda Cooper. That should be a lot of fun. And then Vitor Belfort versus Lyoto Machida, a battle between two Brazilian legends in the motherland.
No doubt about it. May 12th, you can see it on pay-per-view. Brian Kelleher actually in the building here tonight. And here is the batch of prelims you can see over on FS1. Cesar Mutachi Faeda taking on Carl Robertson, Alexio Oleinik, and Junior Albini, 2 of the top 15 heavyweights in the world. We talked about Davi Ramos earlier. He takes on Nick Hine. And one of the underrated welterweights out there, Eligio Zaleski dos Santos, returns against Sean Strickland. It's all coming your way May 12th. And don't forget, those UFC 224 prelims will be yours on FX. So that's the lineup for Rio de Janeiro tonight, though. Brooklyn, New York, the epicenter of the MMA world, where soon the first of 2 UFC titles will be on the line. An unbelievable night here in the borough of Brooklyn tonight, and of course, the best is yet to come. Well, Calvin Kattar emerged from the regional scene in New England to become a featherweight contender in just 2 UFC fights tonight. He'll try to continue that drive to the top against Brazil's Renato Moicano. A breakout star in the merciless featherweight division, Calvin Kattar has made the most of his long-awaited call to the UFC. And in his second consecutive main card appearance, the Massachusetts native gets an intriguing showdown with fellow top 15 contender Renato Moicano.
I'm ready to make waves in the UFC. It's been 1 year, 2 fights, and I'm 13th in the world at this point. Renato's 11. I plan on taking him out and chewing on some top 10s.
I expect a great show tonight. I will do my best to bring that win to Brazil.
After patiently building his name on the regional circuit, Calvin Kattar made it to the octagon in 2017. And after upsetting Andre Fili in his debut, he began 2018 with a bout he'll never forget. He took Fight of the Night honors in his native Boston for a triumph over Shane Burgos, thereby running his winning streak to 10.
Tonight's my night because I'm riding high off a big Boston win, and they say good things come in threes. Tonight's my 3rd fight in UFC. I'm gonna get the job done.
A winner of 11 of his 13 pro bouts, Brazil's Renato Moicano earned his place among the featherweight elite by defeating Tom Nianimaki, Zubaira Tuhugov, and Jeremy Stevens. And tonight, he wants to make his case for another quantum leap by defeating Kattar.
I think Calvin is a good fighter. He was well-rounded, had some good skills, takedowns, boxing skills, MMA skills. So I train a lot for all situations, and I will be prepared.
With a 10-fight winning streak in tow, here is the Methuen, Massachusetts native Calvin Kattar, and he has really burst onto this featherweight scene, Joe. For my money, looks to be a well-rounded fighter that can do it all, and he is certainly ready to take his shots at the elite beginning tonight against Moicano.
Yeah, I was incredibly impressed by his performance against Shane Burgos. His fight against Andre Fili was very impressive, but the Burgos fight was so impressive because it was so tightly matched. There were give and take moments in that fight up until the time he landed that perfectly placed shot. Had him stunned and then put him away. And Burgos is a dangerous, dangerous guy. Calvin got hit with some big body shots in that fight, got clipped several times. It was a very back and forth contest. So what I want to see from him is different challenges and different styles, and that's what Renato Moicano presents. Renato Moicano is very well-rounded, tremendous ground game, very good striking himself, so this is a really exciting fight for me.
He gave us the most Boston interview ever. He goes, my opponent's nice. I'm like, screw you for being nice. He goes, when they're mean, I'm like, screw you for being mean. He goes, I have to have a little mental edge going into the fight. He has that tonight.
He sounded like Bill Belichick, too, when he said, I'm on to the next, right? And, of course, you heard there in the feature, he said, if he can beat Moicano tonight, then he wants to chew on some top 10s. This is a guy who also owns his own MMA promotion in New Hampshire, Combat Zone MMA. He has been in the game since 2007. He did miss all of 2014 and 2015 due to injury. Fights well going forward, aptly going backward as well. We'll see if Calvin Kattar can put it all together on the big show yet again tonight against the highly touted Renato Moicano. Now training out of American top team Coconut Creek, Florida. Here is the number 11 ranked featherweight in the world, Jimmy, Renato Moicano. A lot of people think this is a guy on the short list
of Brazilians who could be a future UFC champion.
Yeah, he's coming off his first loss of his career to Brian Ortega, but a very competitive fight throughout those 3 rounds. A lot of it on the feet. I liked his kickboxing, very, very sharp, good combinations, uses his range well, but some of his punches kind of flew past the head of Ortega. Didn't quite turn him over when he needed to. A couple of adjustments, and he could be a real threat on his feet. I think we're going to see a lot of kickboxing tonight.
Yeah, I was impressed with him in the Ortega fight, but Ortega lured him into his specialty, which is that guillotine. Ortega smartly boxed him, beat him in the stand-up in these exchanges, and forced Moicano into a sloppy takedown attempt, and that's where Ortega capitalized that beautiful guillotine of his. But this is what this sport is all about, learning from mistakes. He's also beaten Jeremy Stephens by a very close split decision. As we very well know, Jeremy Stephens is one of the best featherweights on planet.
And of course, that win over Jeremy Stephens set up that fight against Brian T-City Ortega. I mean, 9 months ago, Jimmy, this guy was a 2-to-1 favorite to beat Brian T-City Ortega. And when you talk to his management, his training partners, this guy's the real deal. Did this entire training camp for the first time at American Top Team, and we'll see if it turns into the desired result tonight.
I think it's a case of we didn't know how good Brian Ortega was at that time.
Right.
Taking nothing away from Moicano, has a ton of skills. And on the ground, that's what he's known for, a great submission game. Can he get Kattar there, or will we have another stand-up war? That's a big question.
All right, ready to go with Moicano and Kattar. This tale of the tape brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit. Since 1925, Moicano 28, Calvin Kattar is 30. Both fighters 5'11" tall. Similarities across the board between these featherweight hopefuls. All right, now down inside the octagon for the introductions. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record, 18 wins, 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 145.5 pounds. Fighting out of Methuen, Massachusetts, Calvin Kattar. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a jiu-jitsu fighter holding a professional record, 11 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 145.5 pounds. Fighting out of Brasilia, Brazil, Renato Moicano. When the action begins, our referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
You know, these guys had an encounter in Sao Paulo in October. Jimmy, you can tell the story. I mean, Renato approached Calvin Kattar as he was sitting in the crowd because he was down there to be with his longtime #1 training partner, Rob Font, and Moicano essentially said, we're going to fight someday.
And he goes, yeah, man, I thought I had a fan for once. Somebody recognized me. Oh, it's another fighter. And it's like, he was so nice, but man, screw that guy. I'm going to beat him up, man.
Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Moicano in yellow, Calvin Kattar is in blue, coming out orthodox, but he will switch stances on you.
What I love about his fight against Shane Burgos is that Burgos came in kind of known as the knockout guy, as the guy who was going to come in and really brawl and hit him with big punches. And Kattar did not take a backward step, dealt with it very, very well, never seemed shook or overwhelmed by his opponent's power.
Yeah, he waited for the opportunity, and when he saw it, he landed a beautiful punch, had Burgos hurt, and put him away. And that was a big, big victory for him, because it just showed how professional he is.
Right.
And that's the best way I would describe how he fights. He's not reckless. He's not too patient. He just does everything very, very technical and very professional.
And he's also, as I mentioned, a promoter. Everything he does is professional. That's the buzzword. He hired perfecting athletes for the first time to handle his nutrition leading up to this fight. He was quick to laud the fight IQ of Renato Moicano.
Oh, he tagged him with big right hand. Moicano got hurt there. And even then, moving in, but checking to see how Moicano's doing. Recognizing that bombs might be coming his way. And Moicano recovered very nicely. Good leg kicks there.
And that big power shot, it missed, but it made Kattar back off. Like, okay, this guy's still throwing hard. Smart move.
Nice right hand over the top. Beautiful timing on that by Kattar.
Moicano loading up on some power shots, hasn't quite landed that big one yet. 2 minutes have gone by round one.
Very nice body kick there by Moicano.
Moicano outstanding on the ground. Going to be very interesting to see if he tries to get the fight there. So far, content to stand.
The thing about Kattar's style is he doesn't overcommit to any strikes. It makes that takedown a little bit trickier. You have to set it up a little bit better. He's not going to walk into anything.
Yeah, and when he does commit, you really don't know when it's coming. It doesn't give a lot of tells.
Very sharp, very quick. Somebody asked me recently, what's the scariest thing in sparring? And I said, it's the shot you didn't see, or when you weren't prepared for it. Give me power any day as long as I can see it. The one you didn't see, that's the one that hurts.
Pretty good right hand counter by Moicano. And lands that body kick yet again. Under 2 minutes now in round one of a possible three.
Not seeing a lot of leg kicks from Moicano. I think he respects the right hand of Kattar. Doesn't want to eat that right hand counter. So he has long legs. We haven't seen a lot of leg kicks.
Yeah, Kattar's throwing some heat. There's a nice one right there. Yeah, Moicano is really targeting that left leg and even opening up his hands. Again, inside. Again. Opening up his hands almost just to push off, to land those, and not concentrating on punching.
Let's go, Kattar. Chance here in New York, cheering for the Bostonian against the Brazilian.
Neither guy really moving their head a whole lot. Kattar, when he's coming in, though, is a little bit straight with his head.
The leg's getting chewed up.
Good stuff.
Inside and out. And now Kattar pressing forward.
Now, it's interesting. I was wondering why he wasn't going to a lot of leg kicks, but as Kattar's slowing down and presenting a better target, he's throwing them with a lot more abandon. Another good one.
Yeah, Kattar, he's not checking any of these, nor is he attempting to check any of these. Oh, and he just ate a right hand. And another leg kick.
Waning seconds of this first round.
That referee better get out of there.
Other side. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by Body Armor. Time to ditch your artificial sports drink and switch to Body Armor. More natural, more electrolytes, better sports drink. Grab yours at participating Speedway stores. Body Armor, the official sports drink of the UFC.
Squares up when you feint and when you jab. There's a split second where he's standing totally square. You can come over the top, all right?
Here's your water.
You're doing a great job working, cutting off the cage as well, Calvin. Keep up the work. Keep
Listen,
going.
the lead hook, you're getting a little wild with that, okay? So let's think about the two, but let's straighten it out. You're coming over the top a little bit, it's not landing. So let's think about straightening out the two. Yep. But I need you to go first from range with the stiff, straight punches, okay?
Yep. When you feint, Calvin, he's throwing with his right hand.
Equilibrado. It's even. Okay, we need the second round. Come on. Come on, let's be careful. You're kicking really out. Keep it up. Keep the distance.
Ariane Celeste getting us started here for round two. Renato Moicano and Calvin Kattar. Two of the top 13 featherweights in the world going at it tonight here in Brooklyn.
Ready.
To be followed by the UFC Strawweight Championship next, Rose Namajunas and Joanna Jedrzejczyk. And Pahumpa telling Moicano after that round one, not wanting him to sit on a lead.
Oh, nice. Boy, he stormed at him there.
Kattar still initiating, but Moicano more effective with the counter strikes.
Yeah, Moicano's made some interesting adjustments at the beginning of the second round. And again, attacking that leg. Cater's not checking any of these. No attempts.
It's hard to explain. If you haven't been working checking a lot, it's a hard instinct. It's not the first thing you think of. It's a thing you have to really work on in the gym to use effectively in a fight.
Yeah, but you would think in his 21st professional fight, oh, Moicano went up high.
You would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not something he generally does. And that could prove to be a real issue in his career as he moves up against some of the higher level guys. Like, I mean, who we just saw, Khabib. Oh man, that leg's getting chewed up.
Right out from under him.
Moicano very efficient with that leg kicking attack, and this is the same division as the fight you just saw between Bochniak and Magomed Sharipov.
And Calvin switched his stance now. That's usually a sign that your leg is damaged. Now this could mean that Moicano could go across the top, across both. He did. He went right to that other leg. Oh, he checked that one. There you go. But this is going to take a lot off of Calvin's punches.
Kattar really having a hard time finding his range on the feet.
Moicano with a very good move there. Slid out of the way of that punch, spun around behind him.
And Moicano striking a lot tighter than he did in round one. I thought he was a little loopy with his shots in round one. He's tightened it up in round two.
And he lit that leg up again.
Now Moicano showing a southpaw look. Kick to the body lands flush again.
And Calvin, whether or not you can tell by watching, he's got compromised movement now.
Yeah.
He's going to have a harder time getting away from shots. He's not going to have the same sort of spring.
You have to wonder, with that leg being compromised, hard to stop a takedown. Your balance isn't great. Moicano can also go to his ground game, and that's where he has the big advantage.
That inside leg kick is so painful, and Moicano keeps landing it right above the knee. That is a tender spot, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're at home, just give yourself a little slap.
Well, right. I mean, a 3-year-old
Just
kicks
feel
you
it.
there, it hurts.
Sucks.
That sucks. And when a guy like Moicano's kicking you there, it sucks hard.
It's always the same spot, man. They're so good at that. An experienced leg kicker. It's terrible.
And when Kattar does try to advance, Moicano doing a great job getting that guard high. Kattar 17 of 79.
And with that explosion that he had on the right hand in round one isn't there because compromising both legs.
Yeah, two hard ones right there in a row. And another. I mean, that leg's getting chewed.
And an uppercut for good measure, then punctuates the combination with a body kick. So Moicano really putting it together tonight. Kattar would appear to have some work to do if he is to extend his winning streak to 11.
It's interesting that Moicano is primarily focusing on the inside leg kick, right there. Not on the outside anymore. He seems to be really successful at that one particular technique, so that's what he switched to. Man. And he's doing a great job of anticipating the big right hand and sliding under it. Now, Calvin has switched stances, and Moicano's chewing up that leg now.
And it's so much harder to defend from a side you're not accustomed to using.
And you see that,
very difficult to see punches coming.
Sorry, Jimmy, but you see that step missing. He's missing a step.
Yeah.
And Moicano is taking advantage of that, closing the gap, and then getting away from him easier as well.
Right. Yeah, he's still extending the right hand, but he doesn't have to pop with his legs behind it to cover that extra foot or so that he's been doing before, that he did in round one.
I mean, he's walking towards him, he's frustrated, but what does he expect? Moicano's just going to stand there and exchange with him?
Right.
Who is he, Kyle Bochniak? I mean, come on.
Moicano lands another one. Outstanding footwork.
That's a compliment, by the way, to Kyle.
Yep. But he pivots so well to prevent the offense coming back.
Well, one thing to note here is that Calvin Kattar used to train with Mark Delagrate at Sit Yo Tong, which is a top-level Muay Thai gym, one of the best in the world. Doesn't train there anymore. And he needs that right now. He needs that kind of coaching. And look at that high kick right there, to the head. But this is where he needs it, to the body and to the legs right here. Boom. And that's one of many, many inside leg kicks that he's been getting chewed up with.
It affects everything. Everything comes from the feet, the legs, the hips. That's where all the power comes from, and the movement comes from. He doesn't have that anymore.
All right. Can you do that? Listen, think about burgers. You got to step in with punches. You got to get him moving backwards. I want more volume on the jabs than the two behind it. What? You think Boston? Boston? Nah, I'll halfway through the round, if it's not going well, maybe. But I'll let you know. But listen, the Boston's not going to work if you don't pressure him.
January 20th, you were in the same position.
Listen.
1-1. You got to come out and take over.
Use the jab, step in.
Amazing. No one said check the kicks. Did you hear it?
I did not. But once again, it's not the kind of thing like if you haven't been doing that in camp a lot, you're not going to start doing it.
He's got to know how to check
That's
kicks.
the difference.
But there's no way he doesn't know how to check kicks.
He's an 11-year
pro. He's a world-class fighter.
All right, third and final here. Renato Moicano and Calvin Kattar. Tyson Chartier telling Calvin Kattar he believes this fight is 1-1 right now.
Again. Oh, but now on the ground. Moicano right back to his feet like a cat.
But my last comment on that, if you didn't suggest it, they haven't been working on it really at all.
Right, exactly. Moicano's showing it to him now. And you see Calvin just really reacting to it. Over the top. Oh, damn.
Appeared to land right behind that left ear of Calvin Kattar.
You got to give it up to Kattar, though. I mean, eating all those shots, still pressing forward. And still looking for the big punch.
Boston fighter showing a lot of heart tonight. A lot of heart.
Dude, you keep complimenting these Bostonians.
Look, another one. You know, I'm from LA, all right? I'm just trying to be.
Well, I'm from Boston, and we appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right.
A lot of savages in that town. What are these people booing at?
Yeah,
man. Are they watching something on TV?
I think they're still in the last fight compared it to that.
That's right.
I think we set the bar a little too high.
Yeah, look at this. Moicano, oh, beautiful head movement, then a nice inside leg kick.
This is a great fight. A lot of action, very technical, but still thinking about the standing ovation for our last fight.
Yeah. Kattar not really showing a limp. He'll be limping tomorrow. Beautiful combination again from Moicano.
There's blood all over the foot of Calvin Kattar, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. His left foot is covered in blood.
Yep.
You see it?
I do.
I mean, it's all over his left foot.
On the inside as well.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
But I don't know where it's coming from.
3 minutes now to go in this one. 2 championship fights to follow. Okay, I just saw blood drip from his head down to his foot.
So it's dripping down onto his foot. Yeah, that makes sense.
That nose looked like it's leaking pretty bad.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's the missing the step from the leg kicks. Moicano slides right out of the way and counters. Oh, man, another.
It's been a can't-miss weapon throughout this fight.
Look at that inside leg. That is nasty. It is welted up and nasty.
And right now, in the third round is when you really start feeling it.
Moicano seamlessly transitions from stances, rips the body yet again.
Oh! Look, Calvin Kattar is an animal. The fact that he's in there and taking it. Oh, big right hand by Moicano.
Look at the discipline of Moicano. Went right back to the combinations. Didn't throw a big shot to try and get him out of there.
And he chewed that leg up again.
That's good discipline.
Yes.
Well, Kattar seems more frustrated than he does hurt right now. Less than 2 minutes to go.
This is a lesson, not just for Calvin Kattar, but for all young fighters watching this who are thinking about what to... Oh, beautiful uppercut. Moicano's all over Calvin.
And he resets.
The lesson is you can't eat leg kicks.
They don't taste good.
John Anik, ladies and gentlemen. We love you.
He'll be here all week. Try the wings.
I thought you were the comedian, bro. That's awesome. That's great.
I let other people
Good stuff, dude.
It is what it is.
But I like what Moicano does. He doesn't, throw the kitchen sink at him, trying to get him out of there. He resets, goes back to the center, and goes back to what has been working.
Yes. I mean, and he's well aware that Calvin's extremely compromised in his movement now. He can tell by these exchanges.
He still respects Kattar's
Oh, nasty elbow. Calvin's getting busted up here. I mean, Moicano's putting on a clinic. He figured out what was going on in the first round, solved the riddle, and found a hole. And the hole is the legs. And through that, he's able to get to the head. And again, with Calvin's moving forward, side-to-side movement, constantly moving away.
So Renato Moicano puts on a striking clinic tonight, did not need to attempt a single takedown to, in all likelihood, get the job done against Calvin Kattar, who came in having won his last 10. That is a big result, Jimmy, for Moicano tonight.
And what set it all up, the beautiful leg kicks from the start of this fight, attacking below the waist of Calvin Kattar. Great shots inside, outside, fantastic movement, great combinations, and every time they were outside, it was leg kick attacks, combinations with the fist, and then finishing up with the body kick. Great stuff with the kickboxing of Moicano, and I liked his discipline, his control. This is a smart, intelligent, well-coached fighter.
Phenomenal performance, and I love the adjustment after the first round. I mean, Calvin was sharp and very accurate with his hands in that first round, looking for that counter right. Moicano just took all that away from him by chopping at that leg.
When they call me to fight with him, I'm honored.
No, it was a good fight.
Because I want to fight with the best. Sorry to fight with you, but
good job.
Says he's honored, man. Great show of respect,
Yeah,
man.
quite
Love
a
that.
sportsman there, Renato Moicano. Maybe he's next for Zabit Magomed-Sharipov. I am no matchmaker, but there's a lot of talent, and some of these guys at 45 now with just great frames for this division. Holloway, Ortega, Moicano, Magomed-Sharipov.
You hear that?
Not now, but in a few years I will be.
He's like, remember my name.
I work hard. I trust in God. Thank you to all my family.
Renato Moicano came in number 11 in the world, trying to improve to 4-1 inside the octagon. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. All right, now we turn it over to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score the contest 29-28, 30-27, and 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Renato Moicano.
Renato Moicano has now won 7 of his last 8 as he turns back the challenge of the Boston native Calvin Kattar here tonight. The champions are out tonight. There's the UFC Bantamweight King, TJ Dillashaw, as was announced this week. He will rematch Cody Garbrandt for the title August 4th at Staples Center in Los Angeles. There is the consensus pound-for-pound king, the UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson, on the mend from a shoulder. We'll see who he fights next. UFC welterweight champ Tyron Woodley, the chosen one, also in recovery mode right now. Perhaps he'll be back in August or September. All right, straight ahead, we will get to the co-main event, this much-hyped strawweight championship rematch between Rose Namajunas and Joanna Jedrzejczyk. What's coming up? Brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Well, before you watch Rose and Joanna meet in the octagon for the second time, check out this clip of AMC's hit martial arts series Into the Badlands, premiering Sunday, April 22nd at 10/9 Central, only on AMC.
The Badlands is at war.
Join us or die.
Well, yesterday, right here inside Barclays Center, we held our 25th anniversary press conference, all to set the table for the next few months. And as you will see here, it is shaping up as a massive spring and summer for the MMA leader.
these fighters have flown in from all over the world, so we'll show them the respect of asking questions about their fight.
Just a question for Colby. Did you notice that RDA is wearing a T-shirt that has a boomerang on it? And if so, what is your response to that?
I don't notice anything that little midget that got melted by a featherweight does.
What do you think you can do differently in the rematch?
I love you, everybody.
10 pounds on December 30th, you couldn't make weight.
Man, you see what happened to
6 months to drop from 200 pounds to 135. We got the fight. I don't know why you're complaining right now. June 1st is going to happen.
Yes, definitely.
What better chance to go to Liverpool and fight for the fans over there against a strong welterweight Darren Till? So I'm excited, man. Let's go.
We as the fans and as fight fans and as the people know who the champ is if you win the fight. I mean, if you win the fight, you're the champ. To be the man, you beat the man. And if you beat the man, it's hard to deny that he's not the champion.
The thing is that Brazil wasn't ready for me, so.
Shut your up.
There's a reason you're at the little kids table, scrub. Get used to it, Junior.
Hey, all I need is 30% for you. You can bring your mom, your cousin, Jesus.
And Dana, is Brock Lesnar signed? Is that official? Is that 100%? What are the chances he faces the winner of DC Stipe?
Please.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah.
I came off the couch and dropped your ass.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about?
All right. That's why you had
11 months inactive.
Keep using your time to promote me. That's why you're a mark.
Yo, you want to talk? You talk.
Junior, settle down, Junior.
See, it's hard to talk when your manager's not here, right?
No. Which manager? Is he fighting you? I am fighting you, man. You better be ready and think about me, not about him.
Absolutely, man. I'm about to give him coast-to-coast ass whooping. I'm gonna make him go face down once again.
Oh, so good. Can we just see that again, if you guys don't mind? John Anik, Joe Rogan, Jimmy Smith. It's just an amazing dynamic when they get all these athletes together, you know?
Yeah, I'm excited about every single fight they showed. Every single one of them is exciting. I'm very, very pumped about the Whitaker-Yoel Romero rematch. Yeah. I'm very pumped about the Cody-TJ rematch. Man, DC versus Stipe. Marlon Moraes versus Frankie Rivera.
It's going to be great. Darren Till, Stephen Thompson. The striking in that fight is going to be fantastic. You're going to see everything. That's the one I think I'm most looking forward to. If I had to pick a favorite, got to go with that one.
That one is a big one to me because after Darren Till just destroyed Cowboy, I want to see how he faces up against that wild karate style of Wonder Boy. That's a really interesting one because we don't know enough about Darren Till other than the fact that we know he's very, very special.
We do know that fight is getting the Liverpool backdrop, and if you know anything about Liverpool, those people are crazy in the best of ways.
And
that's
crazy
be a
for
show.
him.
Yes, crazy for him as well.
And they should be. He's fantastic.
All right, so we got a huge slate of events April through August. Let's show you the lineup, big fights and dates. We're also happy to announce, so the Tough finale will be July 6th. It will take place at the Pearl at the Palms July 7th. Also in Vegas, that'll be UFC 226, Miocic versus Cormier, T-Mobile Arena. July 14th, FS1 UFC Fight Night. Boise, Idaho for the first time. Hamburg, Germany gets another FS1 UFC Fight Night. July calendar will wrap up with a Fox UFC Fight Night from Canada. That location still to be determined. In August, as we mentioned, Los Angeles getting that Dillashaw Garbrandt rematch from Staples Center. And finally, August 25th, back on FS1 from Lincoln, Nebraska. All right, as we get ready for our co-main event and the first of 2 championship fights tonight, these strawweight rankings brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The champion versus the #1 contender, Joe, here in a few short minutes.
What a matchup we are about to see. I am so excited to see what happens here. Rose Namajunas shocked the world when they met. Stopped the great Joanna Jedrzejczyk in the first round with strikes in a way that no one ever suspected. People thought that if she had a shot to win that fight, it would be by submission. Right. She shook up the world. Joanna has gotten a completely revamped strength and conditioning and nutrition program coming into this fight. She took care of everything herself. Her weight is on point. She was very light just a week ago. So she was well ahead of schedule. And she believes that she has what it takes to regain her status as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the division's history.
The X factor in this fight, how does Rose Namajunas handle being champion? How does Joanna Jedrzejczyk handle being a challenger? The mental side, huge in this fight.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Rose Namajunas certainly stunned the masses in 2017 when she took the UFC title. Tonight, the Polish star returns to New York in search of redemption and to take back her name as Joanna champion. Live inside Madison Square Garden, this is UFC 217. Joanna Jedrzejczyk trying to stay undefeated and tie Ronda Rousey's women's title defense record at 6. She is the prohibitive favorite against Thug Rose Namajunas.
This young lady got a title shot before, but she may have been too young.
Trying to push that elbow out. She's got time.
Now she feels like the timing is perfect for her to become the UFC champion.
I'll tell you one thing, it's tough to get a read on this young lady. Facing a monster.
I didn't take her so you don't know about being a second round.
One of the most dominant and terrifying champions, and she's just dead-faced.
No one is taking this belt from me. No one.
Knockdown for Namajunas. Rose Namajunas trying to close the show.
That's it. Unbelievable. Thug Rose. Thug Rose. Thug Rose.
There is a new strawweight queen. She has turned the mixed martial arts world on its axis tonight.
It was destined to happen. I knew that I had a mission to accomplish, and that's all I was focused on. I needed to beat Joanna to know that I'm the best in the world for myself and nobody else.
Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jedrzejczyk for the women's strawweight UFC title, a rematch. I think this will be the greatest fight in women's strawweight history. Joanna Jedrzejczyk started off 14-0, smashing the best names in the division. She was untouchable in the strawweight division, the best of all time.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Just constant punishment by Jedrzejczyk. Total domination.
But all that confidence going against Rose Namajunas didn't help her. Rose Namajunas was a different fighter in that fight. She was known as a submission fighter.
She's got her back. Looking to finish this fight. She's got it. She's tapping.
Rose Namajunas got the first knockout of her career in the biggest fight of her career.
I think that Rose was lucky in our first fight. I think she's a fluke. Maybe Rose has a belt, but this belt belongs to me.
Finishing Joanna is a true testament to, my abilities. She was the best in the world at the time, and, now I am. It's just a new era, it's not gonna change. I'm gonna punch her in the face, take her back, and choke her out.
In the building is palpable as Joanna Jedrzejczyk makes the walk for her 10th UFC appearance here tonight. Joe, it's been a long time since she occupied this blue corner. The masses are very curious to see how this fighter, who really prioritized being undefeated, responds to her first MMA setback tonight.
It's a long time, and when she first occupied it, she occupied it as the favorite against the champion. I mean, she was a killer coming up for the title, and everybody was terrified of her. World Muay Thai champion, a destroyer, one of the best strikers pound for pound in the entire sport. But what Rose Namajunas did to her is stand up to all the trash talking by reciting the Lord's Prayer and staring dead face into her eyes.
Right.
I mean, Rose Namajunas is a special human being, and her mind is one of her greatest assets. Joanna Jedrzejczyk is a woman who likes to scare people. What happens when she can't scare you?
Yeah.
Well, we found out what happened in the first fight. What happens after she rebounds from getting beaten down and tapping the strikes? We're about to find out now.
So Joanna Jedrzejczyk in the inspection zone. Tonight's Prep Point brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
The great boxer Jose Torres, great coach, once said, when an intimidator fails to intimidate, they become intimidated. How will Joanna bounce back from the emotion she put into the first fight? I think it's going to lead to a quick start in this fight. She wants to mentally show, I'm still the champion. I'm right where I was. That was a fluke. I am not afraid. The way I think it's going to translate in the fight, quick start.
She did a lot of groundwork in advance of the first meeting. She, of course, wasn't able to put that to good use. We talked a lot about what Namajunas did offensively, but defensively, she was able to avoid a lot of the offense from Jedrzejczyk. It was only a 3-minute fight, but Joanna landed just 5 of 42 total strikes. Gotta think she will have better success here tonight in the rematch with Namajunas. She won the title in her 3rd UFC fight, defended it 5 times tonight. Jedrzejczyk will try to become a 2-time UFC champion.
Best in the world.
So here she is, the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC strawweight champion, Rose Namajunas. Joe, when you interviewed her after she knocked out Joanna, her calling card, her buzzwords, confidence, conditioning, composure, and that is at the root of everything she does as a martial artist.
And I talked to her and her fiance, Pat Barry, on my podcast for a couple hours, and they were describing the mental preparation that went into that fight, preparing for everything that Joanna would do. They knew all the tricks, they knew all the bullying, all the tactics, and they knew her techniques. They had studied her down to every last movement, and they knew what to expect. And there's Pat Barry right now talking to her as she makes her way into the cage to defend her title for the first time. And Pat Barry is working with her all day long, every day. They're constantly drilling, not just physically, but mentally. And Rose Namajunas is a sponge. And she's a particularly powerful person mentally.
Yeah.
Her mindset and the way she thinks about things is very, very unusual and very pure.
It's about what skill set she chooses to employ in this fight. She caught Jedrzejczyk with her striking last time. Jedrzejczyk might be a little bit more prepared this time. Might have to mix it up, but want to take down early. What skill set will she approach with? That's the question I want to see answered early in this fight.
And also, how does she handle the pressure of being the champion? That's a big difference. It's a big deal. There's a lot of press obligations. There's a lot of eyes on you. A lot of people love you. There's a lot of adulation, and there's a lot of expectations.
Dogs chase cars. What happens when they catch one? A lot of times, it's a different point of view. It's a different point of view. Is she ready for that?
Well, she certainly proved a lot to herself in that first meeting. First knockout as a pro tonight. Thug Rose Namajunas will try to make it 2 straight against Jedrzejczyk. This till the tape. For the Strawweight Championship, brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Rose Namajunas, 25 years old. Joanna Jedrzejczyk is 30. Joanna, 1 inch taller. Both fighters weighing in at 114 pounds. Slight reach advantage for the former champ, Jedrzejczyk. All right, now for the introductions, we turn it over to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, This fight is 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC strawweight championship of the world. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Dave Torelli, Glenn Trowbridge, and Chris Lee. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Keith Peterson. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, 14 wins, 1 loss. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 114 pounds. Fighting out of Olsztyn, Poland, presenting the #1 ranked strawweight contender in the world and the former UFC strawweight champion, the challenger, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 8 wins, 3 losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 114 pounds. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Rose Namajunas!
Both of you have been given your instructions. Any questions? Touch gloves if you like. Let's fight.
Why am I so anxious? I'm not fighting.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps. Bruce Buffer just gave me goosebumps on top of goosebumps.
Craziness, man.
Oh my God.
So this much-hyped strawweight championship rematch is upon us. You hear both of these women with a lot of local support here in New York. And we are underway. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
And with all the craziness that has happened this week, so many people overlooking this fight.
Not me.
Why, we couldn't wait for this thing to get started.
Rose starting off with a jab. Nice leg kick by Joanna.
Exactly how she opened in the first meeting. Mike Brown, the Joanna camp, has talked a lot about extending Namajunas. They feel like the longer this fight goes, the better it will be for them.
That was an interesting aspect of the first fight. It was over so quickly. Jedrzejczyk wasn't able to make adjustments, wasn't able to test Namajunas' cardio. A lot of unanswered questions.
Good exchange there.
I love the way Rose is moving right now.
Yeah, great control of distance and unpredictable in her approach. Moving around left and right and false starts.
What that does, it stifles your opponent's offense. They think, well, maybe if I attack right now, they're not going to be there.
She's got the range and she's very calm here.
Physically, Jedrzejczyk looks outstanding, as good as she's ever looked.
Yeah, she looks much better, and she looked much better getting ready for the weigh-in. I mean, she made a big adjustment in her preparation. And interestingly enough, handled everything herself.
Right.
They both exchanged shots there.
Jedrzejczyk being a little bit more patient in this fight. You know, she got overextended a lot in the first fight. It could be, hey, you come to me. I'm going to wait for you and be ready with the counter strike. Both ladies looking very sharp.
Remarkable all that Namajunas has accomplished, still just 25 years old. Really starting to master Trevor Whitman's intricate striking style.
Yeah, she gets better every time you see her. She just landed a 1-2 right there. She's better every time you see her. And another thing, not just working with Trevor Whitman, but Valentina Shevchenko,
right,
who's a world-class striker. She's sparring with her on a regular basis, constantly training with Pat Barry. I mean, and she's training at Elevation in Denver, Colorado, which gives her a nice cardio bump.
Right.
Namajunas so far, I love the body language. She's fighting with confidence. Good job with that left hand. And one thing is she's not biting on a lot of Jedrzejczyk's feints. Jedrzejczyk is feinting a lot with the lead hand. It's not really drawing much of a reaction out of Namajunas. She knows when she's out of trouble.
Under 2 minutes in the round, this fight has already lasted longer than the first meeting. Namajunas pressing forward, nothing doing there.
Excellent footwork and movement by both of them. Very nice leg kick there by Joanna. Oh, Rose with the right hand. Oh, another one. And then slides out of the way.
And that was after a stance change. She changed her stance and then attacked. So the power came from the other side. Beautiful stuff.
Joanna a little bit busted up here early, but she has been known to have a pretty good chin, last fight notwithstanding.
And Jedrzejczyk really yet to find her offensive stride.
What Rose is doing very nice is sliding to the side in these exchanges and landing that right hand over the top. See that? Sliding to the side. Always. Never right in front of her.
Namajunas continues to keep that right hand high.
Left hand. And then slides away. She's not there.
There's no success with the straight jab yet for Jedrzejczyk. That's usually her setup punch. It just hasn't been there.
One of her best weapons.
Yeah.
And just Rose has got weird timing. She's got weird timing and movement. It's very unusual.
And when you're used to setting up the jab, that's where all the rest of your offense comes from. If you can't get that going, it's hard to get the right going. And so far, she hasn't.
Oh! Big left for Jedrzejczyk. 5 minutes down. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by Body Armor. Time to ditch your artificial sports drink and switch to Body Armor. More natural, more electrolytes, better sports drink. Grab yours at participating Speedway stores. Body Armor, the official sports drink of the UFC.
Good. Easy then you kick. It's very easy then you kick. You stick, move your feet, but don't get too excited to go for combinations, okay? Your head move is amazing. But
we're falling a little short with our punches. Let's try to come in with like a 1-1-2. Cover a little more distance, right?
A lot of questions, I think, answered in that first round. How would Rose approach it tactically? She's gone with her stand-up. She's had confidence in her kickboxing. How would she handle it? Mentally, she's been in the center, in the former champion's face, acting like the fighter with the belt. Two important statements in the first 5 minutes. Great 5 minutes by the champ, Rose.
And if you get a look at that last exchange, the ones that Joanna threw, I thought they landed when we were looking at it from here because her back was to us. But Rose's shots landed, and Joanna's face is starting to redden up. Rose is getting the better of the exchanges with a multiple-time world Muay Thai champion. That's just crazy. And that shows how good a coach Trevor Whitman is.
All right, round two here. Namajunas and Jedrzejczyk. Jimmy, you heard... Well, we'll hold that thought for a second after the Namajunas combination, but Mike Brown, Jimmy, feeling like Jedrzejczyk has to cover more distance. Now that patented jab lands.
Yeah, exactly. Push off the feet. That step-in jab. Covering distance with the feet as well as the hands. Can't throw it stationary. Rose has that timing, that distance. She has it in her head fixed so well. Right, exactly out of range.
Rose has got to be careful that she doesn't try for the knockout, that she doesn't try to load up, especially if she gets hit a few times and she starts getting frustrated. Because you got to think that if Joanna can get comfortable and get her rhythm, when you get into the second and third round, that's when it's really going to show. That world-class experience, that championship-level experience, she's been there so many times. How will Rose feel when she starts getting busted up? Right there, that's the timing and distance that Rose has. It's very interesting. She's very educated with her footwork and her movements.
She's gotten so good defensively, and again, still a developing fighter in a lot of respects at 25. Now a little gamesmanship from Namajunas.
It's a great message to send to someone who's usually the psychological bully. Hey, dropping my hands, I'm ready for you, I'm not afraid.
Oh, she clipped through the left. And beautiful movement. She is getting the better of these exchanges.
Like you said, Joe, she's not going wild. She's not looking for finish. She's resetting. Yes. Very educated with her approach, even when she's successful. Not a lot of fighters can do that.
A little bit of swelling on the right side of the face of Namajunas. As we go under 3 minutes here in this second round of a possible 5.
Oh, that was a hard leg kick right there. Oh, look at that. Counter left. Oh, thought Rose slid right out of the way. Look at that head move.
Beautiful slip. She's unorthodox, but she's tight with her hands, very high. Great combination by Namajunas.
Numbers pretty close overall, but an advantage in the head strikes for Rose Namajunas. She's already landed 22 to Jedrzejczyk's Baker's dozen. Just over 2 minutes here, round 2.
Nice knee to the body there by Joanna. Oh!
Stuck her there.
Oh! Referee saying no.
You hear the Namajunas corner calling for her to work the body.
The corner saying she's looking for a way out, Rose.
Finger did get her in the eye. We're seeing a replay right now. Did scrape the eyelid with the finger. But so far, the psychological and tactical advantages, Rose Namajunas. Now, will that hold up for 5 rounds? Remember, a lot of fighting left to go.
Oh, she clipped her with the left. This is crazy. It's so interesting to see her getting the better of these exchanges because we didn't think of her as like this big striker before.
And also, the left hook is what ended the fight last time. Yes. You'd imagine Jedrzejczyk would go back to the gym, and that would be her #1 priority is taking care of that left hook, and it's been landing all night.
Well, it's possible that she had in her head that that last fight was a fluke, and it was because of her bad weight cut, and that Rose just got lucky. She's finding out now that is not the case. I'm sure she was weakened by the weight cut, but there's more. There's more going on here. She's dealing with a girl who's emerging as a real champion.
My question leading into this fight, did Rose Namajunas have a great fight, or is she a great fighter? So far, she looks like a great fighter.
She looks like a great fighter. Now, here's the thing. Rose will do crazy stuff. She will throw up flying arm bars.
Now would be the time to do it. Just a few seconds left.
A few seconds left in the clinch. Using that head.
Nice knee there by the former champ after she landed an elbow. 10 minutes down.
There's a beautiful combination by Rose. And look at that constant side movement. Look at that left hook. Boom, right on the chin. And there's a nasty leg kick by Joanna. And here's the eye poke. She's pushing off here. And one finger definitely went into the eye.
Still, high, boom, low. I need this to start happening. Okay, great job. Okay, stay out of the clinch. If you want to time her for a takedown on her attack, that's great. Like once you get her attack, you can do that too. But timing, don't think power. Okay, everything comes from shifting. Hey, stay out of the clinch. Stay out of the clinch. Okay, keep having fun. You having fun? Yeah. Get up, show it. Get up, show it. Let's go.
Trevor Whitman, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you, man. The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyright work is illegal and punishable under law. He just maximizes those 60 seconds, man.
They have a fantastic relationship, too. He's a coach and trainer, an athlete, and it's just very cool to see.
And I think he's a calming influence because he's not afraid to be a little bit goofy with her.
Joanna with the glove touch.
Yep. They've been friendly at the end of rounds. There's been a good job kind of mentality that certainly wasn't there at the weigh-in.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of mutual respect going on here. Oh, she clipped her.
Jedrzejczyk smiling that one off.
And I think part of it is Jedrzejczyk coming to the realization, man, she's really good.
Yeah.
She's got my respect. She could have said all day, last one was a fluke, blah, blah, blah. Now, regardless of how this fight turns out, she's in there with a great fighter and she knows it. That's where the respect, I think, is coming from.
I think you're absolutely right.
Just amazing when you think about all those title defenses, all the striking numbers, the accolades for Jedrzejczyk, and at least in this 1+ fight rivalry, she has met her match in some respects.
In a lot of respects, I believe.
Well, you got to go back to Rose losing when, you know, she was younger and she just didn't have this kind of mental strength and all these tough fights that she's had inside the octagon with Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And now you see her here as a champion defending her title at 25 years of age. You're just seeing her emerging as a top talent.
And as you referenced earlier, she's talked a lot about the confidence that training for several camps with Valentina Shevchenko has given her.
Yes.
That's a naturally bigger woman that she has held her own with.
Yeah, that's gigantic. And also a world-class striker. I mean, we saw Valentina against Holly Holm. We saw her against just some of the best of the best in 135. Ooh, right hand over the top. But when she lost to Carla Esparza, go back to that Rose, and there's no resemblance to this Rose.
Now, Jedrzejczyk has done a nice job beating up that lead leg of Rose Namajunas. She has landed a lot of leg kicks. Under 3 minutes now in round 3.
The thing about Jedrzejczyk stylistically is she's generally a combination puncher. She wears you down. She kind of gets your rhythm and timing. She's generally not a one punch totally changes the fight kind of fighter.
Yeah.
She usually sets you up with a lot of stuff. That initial stuff, those setup punches, the jab, the lead hook, they aren't working. So the rest of her game is a little bit behind. She's never been a low one punch kind of fighter.
She's landed a nice head kick that was partially blocked to the right hand behind it. Joanna getting confident here.
Yep.
Oh, check that one.
Later tonight, don't miss a complete recap of all the action in Brooklyn on our UFC 223 post-fight show right after the main event on FS1, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. If you're in Canada, you can find it on TSN.
Oh, back fist.
I'm curious to see if Rose's footwork, her angling, the mobility that's been so effective in this fight stays as good as it has been in rounds 4 and 5. That's a big question.
2 hard leg kicks there from Joanna.
Yeah.
That's going to take a lot of that mobility away.
Trying to put money in the bank.
Yep, chipping away at that left leg.
Now, Namajunas did see a 5th round against Paige Van Zandt before finishing her in the 5th. It was a fight in which she passed her guard 14 times, landed 8 takedowns. So we haven't seen her in as many 25-minute championship fights, but
Joanna's starting to really land leg kicks, and there's another one. And those are brutal. And they're fast, and they're not telegraphed.
You saw in the Moicano fight, once you start seeing that that's a viable option, you've got a good leg kick, you're going to go back to it.
Rose looking for the clinch there and denied. And she's showing that leg kick. She's fainting.
Might be the setup she needs for the rest of her offense. The jab hasn't really been there.
Yeah, that leg kick is changing everything. And as we get into the championship rounds, all that money in the bank. Oh,
beautiful. Well, if you like numbers, at least in terms of these significant strikes unofficially, Jedrzejczyk outlanding Namajunas 68-42. A lot of those leg kicks, but
oh, good kick to the body there.
Yeah, I don't think leg kicks get enough credit. They hurt. They are terrible.
Well, they certainly got enough in that last fight.
Good right hand.
Oh.
The leg kick is setting up the rest of the offense. It's become her jab.
Yeah, another nice inside leg kick. This is a different round.
Yep.
This round is really changing the shift of the momentum of this fight. And then goes across with the left.
nice stick and move at the end of the round for Jedrzejczyk.
Deep breaths. Nice job, Jay. Good round.
Very good.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Doing good.
She's low down. The low kicks is low her down. Okay? The footwork is amazing. Please. Let's look at boxing here. Okay? Let's look at boxing. Yes, keep him out.
Long punches. Don't brawl. Don't brawl. Just keep the punches long. 1s and 2s.
Very good. Your fence is very good. I want to see the long punches. Okay? Ready to go forward, right? Yes. Please press across, Jay.
She's slowing down. Don't brawl. Don't brawl. You got this one.
Don't forget to double jab.
Joe, you saw Jedrzejczyk trying to work something out in that right foot. She has certainly kicked with it a lot. Not sure if she's dealing with an injury or what.
Yeah, and that was weird, too. I mean, when was the last time you saw her get stretched in the corner, or anybody, for that matter, get stretched in the corner in between rounds?
But clearly, Mike Brown, they feel like the pendulum is starting to swing. Championship rounds, 4 of a possible 5 here. Namajunas and Jedrzejczyk here in this UFC strawweight championship.
Just to button that, looks like she's moving well at the start of this round.
Oh, that was a hard one. Hard inside leg kick by Joanna.
A definite hop in the step of the former champion, and she throws that right foot there. That's a good sign.
Dehydration plays a huge factor in how well you can take a shot. And we've seen Joanna get hit with some good shots in this fight. She's not dehydrated anymore.
Right.
She's got a much better ability to absorb punishment than she did in the first fight. In the first fight, you saw from the very first punches that Rose landed, she looked shook.
And Rose has landed some good ones in this fight. And Jedrzejczyk, though, responding well, wearing the damage well. Nice right hand.
There's another nice inside leg kick on the movement. This is the Joanna we knew from before the Rose fight. Nice left to the body. Beautiful left hook to the body in that exchange. She's much more active here and much more sharp.
And there's the confidence of, I've been here before. I've been in these 4- and 5-round fights, and you haven't.
And Rose looks like she's slowing down.
She does.
She looks like she's slowing down, and she looks like her movement is starting to get compromised from those leg kicks.
32 of them and counting.
There's another one. And Rose is not landing any in return. She's not landing her own leg kicks. And she's trying now. Oh, there's a good right hand by Rose.
And then able to land the left hand as she was backing up. 3 minutes now to go in round 4.
And I'm curious why Jedrzejczyk might, to see if she goes high with any of these kicks. She has her biting on the leg kick. She expects it low. She expects it low. Go ribs, go head. She hasn't done that yet. We know she can, though.
Yes.
Certainly has the ability.
She went high earlier, and it was blocked.
Yep.
But most of them have been to the legs.
Now that she's gotten her to bite so often on leg kick, going a little bit higher there.
Nice left hand by Jedrzejczyk.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the judges are scoring this, folks.
Yep. Joanna increasingly starting to put her hands together. Another leg kick lands flush. She's feinting that kick too.
For my money, she's winning these exchanges now, where she wasn't earlier.
And she's catching Rose mid-slide. You saw it with the left hand. As soon as she started moving right, she kind of checked her with the left hook.
Well, Rose is compromised. The movement from those leg kicks is having a big effect, just like we saw in the Moicano-Cater fight.
In rounds 1 and 2, she was able to slide out completely, either left or right, before Jedrzejczyk could react. Now she's kind of getting caught a little bit halfway, a little bit at the end.
She just wobbled.
Yep.
She just ate that leg kick and wobbled. She ate another one there.
Under 90 seconds to go in the round. If we do see the stool, it's going to be very interesting to see what the advice is from Trevor Whitman heading into the 5th and final round.
She's definitely having some issues with that left leg now. Left hand landed.
Much more stationary target than she was in the first 2 rounds.
Right hand there.
Still hit back.
I like how she reset. Very well schooled.
One thing about that low stance and the shifting movement of Namajunas, it's hard to then check. It's hard to then lift that leg off the ground when you're that low and having to slide side to side.
Namajunas appeared to land there. Left hand counter lands for Jedrzejczyk. Loaded up on that left, nothing doing. Wow.
In these hooking exchanges, Jedrzejczyk a little bit wider with her hook. Namajunas pulls it in a little bit tighter. That's been the key to it.
Oh.
Great one.
20 minutes down, 5 to go.
When you're being loose, it's landing. Look at her eyeball, it's closing. Every time you snap in towels, it's landing and it's working. Believe in it. Just trust it.
Look at me. You having fun? Keep having fun. You fight for purpose, okay? Go out there, have fun, okay? I want you keeping your feet moving, but I want you to have fun. You go in here and you throw combinations and you believe in it, but keep them short. Just land, not
Up the middle.
You got this. Yeah. I want you to have fun this round. That's what champions do. Who cares, man?
Take your time. Take your time.
That's a cramping issue.
I wonder what's going on with her legs, because something's happening, obviously, where she needs to stretch out in between rounds. Her right eye is what concerns me. That's closing up a lot. Oh, they want a hug. She wants a hug. Rose's left hook has been closing the right eye of Jedrzejczyk. That makes it more difficult. Sorry, it makes it more difficult for her to see that left hand.
You guys thinking 2-2? Just glad you're not a judge or what?
I'm glad I'm not a judge, but if I were, probably 2-2.
I wish Jimmy was a judge. He'd be a great judge.
He would be.
Thanks,
Damn
guys.
fine judge.
Appreciate that.
There's a lot of judges that suck.
So many
You know what
people
you're doing.
disagree with me.
Well, those people are idiots.
One of the more significant left hands from Namajunas in the fight. Jedrzejczyk able to eat it.
It's been her money punch throughout her 2 fights with Jedrzejczyk. That left hook, tight, accurate.
And you do wonder the extent to which the vision is compromised in that right eye. Nice jab, or straight right, I should say, from Namajunas.
Namajunas with some good hands in this 5th and final round. Oh, beautiful jab. And beautiful slide away to avoid the counter.
Standing her ground and throwing a bit more in this round.
Oh!
And Rose showing off a pretty good chin in her
right hand. She stung her with that right hand. Right on the nose.
Yeah, man.
Joanna's having problems with that nose right now.
Yeah.
Look at it.
I think the leg kicks have limited her mobility, so she's standing and throwing a lot more punches.
I think she's also trying to take her out.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's the 5th and final round, she could dig in.
Jedrzejczyk is
Stepped
busted
in with an
up.
elbow.
Rose Namajunas has never been knocked out. In 11 pro fights coming in, and she has really taken control of the first 2 minutes of this 5th round.
Lead uppercut was beautiful. Right in the eye of the storm, she is completely calm. Talk about mental strength. Rose Namajunas has it.
And clearly Pat Barry and Trevor Whitman know which buttons to push. Inside leg kick again is there for Jedrzejczyk.
Rose is standing right in front of her now and is a much more hittable target.
Nice stick with the right hand for Joanna.
You have to wonder, I mean, she's had trouble with her accuracy in her 2 fights with Namajunas, and that eye closed, that messes with your ability to, with your depth perception. Rose Namajunas leading the dance in this 5th and final round.
Yeah, really impressive.
Yeah.
Well, she's got to think this is an incredibly close fight. I mean, this has been most of this fight. 0 on the ground.
Right. Just one takedown attempt for Namajunas.
But a great tactical change. I mean, she's not trying to slide out and set it up with angles. She's throwing heavy punches and catching Jedrzejczyk coming in.
And some of those offerings from Jedrzejczyk are landing, but again, Namajunas just so sage and sound defensively and getting that guard up. Crowd getting behind these two strawweights here. What a display of skill and heart from the two best 115-pound fighters in the world.
And they are proving that they look fantastic tonight. Both of these ladies looking extremely sharp. Rose Namajunas and Jedrzejczyk, beautiful.
It is amazing that Rose is getting the better of these exchanges. And that she's the one who's slipping and moving better. Much better head movement. Joanna's just sort of throwing and ducking her head down. Rose is moving off the center line. She's got a badly bruised left leg, though.
I think that led to that change in this 5th round where she's sliding a little bit less and throwing a lot more.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Takedown. Thought Rose.
Big.
That is huge.
We'll see if Namajunas can keep Jedrzejczyk down for the balance of this fight. Pot shots from Joanna.
Tenacious to the end.
So the rematch goes the distance.
Wow.
From Rose
fight.
Namajunas and Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
What a fight.
With a lot of mutual respect.
And what a close fight.
Two champions in there right now, for sure.
Legitimately.
One has to walk out with the belt, but both of them fought like champions tonight. This crowd on its feet.
And perhaps at some point, these two women could fight for a 3rd time. Jimmy, here are some of the highlights.
And I would love to see it back and forth. Rose Namajunas early in this fight, beautiful movement, beautiful left hooks, great combinations, great aggression. And then in the middle rounds, Jedrzejczyk coming back. Her offense based on the leg kicks, but getting her combinations going. Great stuff from the outside. But in the final round, Rose Namajunas showing that championship heart, stepping forward, really taking it to Jedrzejczyk and battering her. Right eye closing up. And to ice the round, look at this beautiful outside trip. Both fighters, so much emotion leading into this fight, and they let it all out. Great treat for the fans. Two champions.
And that was a great way to punctuate that 5th and final round for Rose Namajunas. The numbers tell you Joanna Jedrzejczyk got a lot done in this fight in terms of the significant strikes landed, outlanding Rose 132-84. But largely looked like a 3-2, at least for Namajunas to me.
Yeah, it certainly did to me, but significant, and then there's significant.
Sure,
Look at the face of Jedrzejczyk, that left hook, accurate, powerful all night. And it was the punch that won her the first fight, and yet she went back to it over and over again and was even better with it, I think, in this 2nd fight.
Beautiful fight. Now, Rose Namajunas, karate, taekwondo black belt. She's been a martial artist since 5 years old. It's a pretty outstanding striker. All right, the official decision brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. Now with that decision, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Thug Rose Namajunas.
I'm here with the winner and still champion, Rose Namajunas. What a fight. Rose, what a fight. Please tell me,
What are your thoughts on that fight?
I'm sorry it wasn't as technical this time, but I was feeling a little heavy this time, but it was still good. I pulled through.
It was very technical. Don't go beat down on yourself at all. It was amazing movement. You landed some big shots, but what was most impressive, you won a kickboxing fight with one of the very best kickboxers to ever fight in MMA.
Yeah, she was right. That weight cut kind of did mess her up the first time, but I'm just better, man.
Better and getting better constantly. One thing that was happening in this fight was she made an adjustment and started attacking your leg. How much of that effect did that have on you?
You know, it was definitely, I feel like I could have been lighter on my feet this time, but it wasn't, I got Pat Barry, the best slow kicker in the game that kicks me all the time, so that's nothing.
Rose, I want you to enjoy this. You are a true champion. There is no doubt about it. The first fight was absolutely not a fluke. You won again. Congratulations. It was an honor to call your fight. Rose Namajunas, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's a great point. When Pat Barry's chucking kicks at your leg, I guess you can take them from a fellow strawweight. That post-fight interview brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
A crossroads fight. Was she really as good as she was in the first fight with Jedrzejczyk? Yes. I think she's even better. She looks
better, but
fantastic.
I think Joanna was better. I think that's the difference. Joanna made the adjustment. I think Rose got better. And I think under Trevor Whitman, with Pat Barry, with Valentina Shevchenko, and that insane crew they have over there, she's going to keep getting better. She's 25 years old.
Amazing.
This girl's even close to her prime. She's 5-6 years away from her athletic prime.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Well, congratulations to Thug Rose Namajunas. And how about it? T-City Brian Ortega in the building here tonight. His next fight will be against Max Holloway in all likelihood for the UFC featherweight title. The light heavyweight king, Daniel Cormier in the building. He's got a date with Stipe coming up July 7th. And there's the former UFC middleweight champion and proud New Yorker Chris Weidman on the mend and set to undergo a second thumb surgery coming up. All right, still to come from Brooklyn, our championship main event between Khabib Nurmagomedov and raging Al Iaquinta. What's coming up? Brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Well, good news. After tonight, you do not have to wait long for the next big fight. How about next Saturday? Glendale, Arizona, Big Fox. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje.
If I would have never came to the UFC, I would have been unsatisfied and I never would have been happy with myself. This is the pinnacle of the sport, and if you want to be the best, then you have to fight in the UFC. And I'll prove I'm the best or fail trying.
When I was younger, I really didn't have a lot of direction. I was getting into a lot of trouble, hanging with the wrong people. I went to the school of hard knocks. I earned everything I have through fighting for it. Punch by punch, inch by inch, I've clawed and fought my way to the top of the mixed martial arts world, and I'm a few fights away from being the world champion. The pinnacle, the goal that I set out for myself as a young kid.
Oh, big uppercut there from Poirier. Poirier's pressure. This kid gets stronger as the fight goes on. Oh!
This dude is as tough as they come. It's non-stop forward pressure.
Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. This is a fight for which you thank the MMA gods. This has to be an absolute war. Justin Gaethje doesn't know how to fight any other way.
Justin Gaethje with his ultimate highlight.
Justin Gaethje, he goes in there and he throws everything he has every single time.
If you want to introduce somebody to MMA fighting, show them my fight. I promise you, your grandma will love it.
And against another warrior, against a guy like Dustin Poirier who will be there.
Oh, Coruscant's in a world of pain here. This one might be done.
That has fight of the millennium written all over.
I'm coming to beat his ass. He's coming to do the same. Fans are in for a treat. Just buckle up, enjoy the ride.
Oh, so good. Here is the 4-fight main card you can see next Saturday on Fox. Of course, a new look to the co-main event. Matt Brown forced out of his fight with Carlos Condit with a torn ACL. So in steps Alex Cowboy Oliveira. We will also get our second look
And a man who is all the rage right now, Israel Adesanya, taking on the Italian Marvin Vettori. And the main card opener, 2 of the top 10 strawweights in the world, Michelle Waterson and Courtney Casey. But now, these top 5 lightweight rankings brought to you by EA Sports. UFC 3, get up to 35% off for limited time on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So Khabib Nurmagomedov taking on Iaquinta tonight. They have combined to win their last 30 fights. Of course, Khabib Nurmagomedov entering this spot tonight, 25-0. Iaquinta has won 5 straight, 8 of 9. And that largely is what set up that opportunity for him. Of course, after tonight, Conor McGregor and Tony Ferguson will no longer be UFC champions. Khabib Nurmagomedov finally getting a crack at that elusive lightweight goal. All right, now live from Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, it is time for the main event for UFC 223, Khabib versus Iaquinta. Well, Khabib Nurmagomedov believes a UFC lightweight championship is his destiny. Tonight, he will try to complete his mission opposite a New Yorker in New York.
Iaquinta versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. This is the fight every fighter dreams of. The Rocky story. He has the chance to shock the world here in Brooklyn.
This is what this sport's all about. A guy gets a call, steps in short notices, seizes the opportunity, makes the most of it, becomes a hero.
I won't only become UFC lightweight champion, undefeated and undisputed. I don't care who's my opponent. Who wins this fight becomes a real lightweight champion.
If you care at all about fighting, you cannot miss this fight. Every now and then there comes along an athlete, Usain Bolt, Michael Jordan, who makes everybody else in that sport look unprepared.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, he has managed to completely dominate every single fighter he has gotten his hands on. That is it! His grappling is out of this world.
Khabib is 25-0. He never got cut. He never got knocked out. He never took one on the chin because he didn't have his right hand up. No mistakes, no opponents ever walking out there with their hands raised. That is unheard of in modern mixed martial arts, and that's what Khabib has. He's one of the top fighters of his generation.
Iaquinta has nothing to lose. He's gonna step to Khabib and he's gonna throw bombs. And he thinks he can be the guy to connect his knuckles to Khabib's chin.
Iaquinta has to get his punches right on the button early in the fight and give Khabib a reason to slow down. Ask Diego Sanchez what happens. If he touches you on the chin, you go out.
Iaquinta has just stopped this fight.
I'm going to be going for the finish the entire time.
Oh, brutal elbows!
Khabib is not unstoppable. He will be defeated eventually in mixed martial arts, and tonight will be the night.
It is all over!
I'm going to show the New York fans tonight that anything's possible. When no one believes in you but your friends and your teammates, and you go out there and you shock the world.
I'm on a different level. I'm gonna push him, take him down, make him tired, and I'm gonna finish him.
Your angel sang in vain.
So here he is with all of New York behind him. The proud Long Islander raging Iaquinta Joe when he waited on Friday
morning, he was doing so to fight Paul Felder. A few hours later, he got the call to face Khabib Nurmagomedov for the UFC lightweight title.
Yeah, it's one of the craziest opportunities in the history of the sport. I mean, there's really nothing like it. I mean, Iaquinta was nowhere close to getting a shot at the title. Many guys in front of him in line, but they weren't on this card. And the ones that were, for whatever reason, they didn't get the fight. Whether it's they asked for too much money or the New York State Athletic Commission decided that Paul Felder wasn't ranked high enough for whatever crazy reason. But all we know is that Iaquinta is the guy who is in this fight right now, and he has a crazy chance to become the UFC lightweight champion.
Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Look, all respects to Max Holloway's a fantastic fighter, but Iaquinta has a lot of advantages he didn't have. He's a natural lightweight, a knockout puncher, former wrestler, and had a full camp. This is a tough fight.
He's also on a 5-fight win streak that includes Diego Sanchez, Jorge Masvidal, Joe Lozon, Ross Pearson, top quality fighters.
And when you look, and again, it was only 98 seconds, but the last fight for Iaquinta against Diego Sanchez, oozing with confidence, loose as hell, didn't force the finish. This is a guy who is walking in here believing he's going to shock the world tonight. And with Matt Serra and Ray Longo in his corner, let us see if Raging Al can get it done. Master, one of the hardest workers in the sport, and at long last, Khabib Nurmagomedov at 25-0 can walk out of that octagon tonight as a UFC world champion.
What I've seen from Khabib Nurmagomedov is unprecedented dominance against world-class fighters. I mean, when was the last time a guy was 25-0 stepping in to the octagon to fight for the title when he had beaten everybody down? I mean, everybody, and not just beat them by close decisions, split decisions. We're talking maulings and massacres where he's begging the guy to quit while he's got his arm tied behind his back and he's punching him in the face. I mean, he's just an unprecedented, just phenom of a talent.
Yeah.
And his time is now. I mean, this is, regardless of who is in there. Conor McGregor hasn't defended his title in 500+ days, and he's likely going to jail. Right?
Right.
He's getting stripped. This guy is fighting for the title. The question is, where's his head at? After all this chaos, after the dolly hits the bus and people are getting cut, glass is flying. They're offering him 5 different opponents. Tony Ferguson gets hurt. Max Holloway can't make weight. All these other guys are thrown off. Now he's got Iaquinta in front of him, and he's got to know Al's crazy. Everybody knows Al's crazy. What's going on in his mind right now, and how does he handle this situation?
For a lesser fighter, I think that's a big issue. I think if Dana White said you're fighting Bigfoot tomorrow, he would be totally okay with it. Right. I really believe that. Get him in here.
I agree with you. I'm just hyping it up, man.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'll call that. Let's do it.
As anyone in the game, he has seen every UFC fight that's ever happened, right? He is obsessed with his craft. When he gets you on the ground, the combination of physicality and technique, it's like nothing we've ever seen.
Yes, and the wrestling is just out of this world. There's a video of him, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen it. He's about 9 years old, and he's wrestling a bear.
Spoiler alert, he wins. And I'm not kidding. People are like, oh, you're joking.
Right.
No, he wrestles a bear.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Khabib Nurmagomedov, 29 years old. He'll be 30 in September. Iaquinta will be 31 later this month. You see there, Iaquinta weighing in 155.2 pounds. 1 pound allowance for a non-title fight. That's why that weight was okay. New York State Athletic Commission not acknowledging him as a champion if he wins tonight. We'll see how that plays out. Now, though, for the introductions, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Sal D'Amato, Derek Clearly, and Dave Torelli. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Dan Mergliata. This bout is sponsored by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a pound-for-pound great network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. And now, for those in attendance and UFC fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the sold-out Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. It's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record. 13 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155.2 pounds. Fighting out of Wantagh, New York, presenting Raging Iaquinta. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding an undefeated professional record. 25 wins, no losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 154.5 pounds. Fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, presenting the number 2 ranked lightweight contender in the world, Khabib, the Eagle, Nurmagomedov.
All right, gentlemen, we've been through the rules in the locker room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. I want you to protect yourselves at all times. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Good luck to both of you.
Here we go. Khabib Nurmagomedov at long last with championship stakes inside that octagon. Raging Iaquinta, a picture of focus. He doesn't look concerned. He had to stop himself from pushing over a TV monitor, I think, on the way in.
Just destructive. The dude is destructive.
You ready, sir? You ready, sir?
Bull in the China shop.
Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Nurmagomedov in red, Iaquinta's in blue.
There's a vulnerability in Nurmagomedov. It's when he comes looking for a takedown. He carries his chin a little high.
Yeah, but here's the question. Does Al go for broke, or does he try to win a long fight? What's his mindset coming into here? Is he going to try to fight 5 rounds, or is he going to try to just kamikaze and take this dude out in the first round?
Interesting question.
Khabib's last 2 opponents, very good defensive wrestlers, Michael Johnson and Edson Barboza. Nurmagomedov still had his way with them and largely was able to take them down at will.
With Iaquinta threatening with the takedown. Ooh.
We did hear some rumblings. He might try to do some offensive wrestling early.
Beasted him down. Beasted him down.
Beasted him. Right away.
So about a minute in, Nurmagomedov gets his first takedown. Let's see what he can do with it.
A bad sign. If you're going to get taken down by Nurmagomedov, you got to make him expend a lot of energy going for it. He got it very quickly.
Yeah, let's see what kind of half guard Al has. Now he's in side control. He's going to give up his back if he just tries to muscle out of this.
Both hooks in.
He gave up his back. Good scramble. Al's almost up, and he's up.
Wrist control for Al Iaquinta, but a good sign that he was able to get back to his feet. The question is for how long?
That's a tremendous sign. Boom.
Not very.
Let's see his guard. Let's see if he tries to use. No, wow.
Right over.
Immediately steps
easy
over into mount.
You know, when you study Khabib, there's no magic to his takedown. He's just tenacious with it. He just keeps going after it. And he lifts. He's so strong.
Al has got a Kimura, but he's on the bottom.
No guard, it's not going to work.
Yeah. He's on the bottom. He's got to free those legs up. And he only has one arm. He doesn't have it anymore.
Stand up, though.
Almost back up. Now remember, New York State Athletic Commission has adopted the new rules. So as soon as Al only has one hand and both feet down, he can get kneed.
Well, I think he's talking to him already. Yeah, right in his ear. One thing about Khabib, he doesn't need a lot of space to land hard punches, hard elbows. Does a lot of damage from in close.
Well, he's got tremendous control.
Yeah.
And those that train with him say he feels like a light heavyweight. 2 minutes here to go in round one. Iaquinta has been susceptible to the submission in his career.
They're trying to get a microphone on him so he can hear what he's saying.
You just feel the physical pressure of Khabib in that wrestling ride. Not trying hard for hooks, just trying to ride him out, take the energy right out of him.
Just sap him.
Yep.
Make him carry that weight.
And he certainly makes the ground strikes count. Already some significant swelling around that left eye for Iaquinta.
Al's back up to his feet, though. The question is for how long? That long. He's getting mauled like everybody else before him.
Right.
And that's usually a difficult position to lift and get a takedown in. He's right there. Incredibly strong.
That's a lifetime of high-level grappling.
And it's amazing to hear the fellow lightweights talk about Nurmagomedov and the reverence.
It's awe. They're in awe of him when you talk about him. They're like, man, to be great in this sport is hard enough. To be elite is so rare. To be really feared is something special. People are scared of this guy.
Yeah.
And as I said in the beginning, he is, as David Goggins would describe, uncommon amongst uncommon men.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most uncommon lightweight contender we've ever seen.
Iaquinta doing his best, though, back to his feet. The wrestling escape, trying to control the wrist and the hand, but
he's trying hard.
Yeah.
But he's in there with an animal.
Well, Iaquinta has responded well to adversity throughout his UFC career when it has reared its head. 2 early knockdowns against Jorge Masvidal, came back to win that fight. A strong opening as expected for the prohibitive favorite Nurmagomedov.
And look at this, just as soon as he gets the ankle, there's no escape. It's a crocodile. He's got a hold of you, and now you're in the water hole. And here's the second takedown. Just tremendous strength and technique. A lethal combination. And here's the ground and pound. And props to raging Al Iaquinta. He survived this. He got back to his feet.
All right, take the first 20 seconds to move a little bit, Al, and then reset, and let's do this, man.
Don't worry about, you saw to that body too, Al. Okay, we know he's strong, he gets a grip of that. It's a problem.
You're looking good, you're moving, you minimize the damage in the first round. Let's see if we could use our angles of movement.
Don't forget
and look
the
for
feints.
a couple of quick shots. Let's go. Give me that.
So you heard from Ray Longo there. What are the thoughts behind the 20 seconds to reset here at the beginning of the round?
It's probably they feel that he's not really fully recovered after a minute. And they would like him to not just go out there and immediately get taken down again.
All right, round 2, gentlemen, let's go. Fight.
But I'm sure Khabib has other ideas.
And my last comment on that takedown, usually that single leg, you have to circle and angle and kind of drop the guy. Khabib just lifted him up and dropped him. That's impressive. And it's also, you know, go back to the game plan. Don't get frustrated by that first round. Go back to what we trained. Don't panic. Rely on your technique.
Good stick there by Iaquinta.
Al's nice and low here, too. Crocodile.
Diving for that single leg. Diving for it.
Oh, and he gets free.
But he didn't get the separation.
It's a terrifying thing, too. It's just the way he closes the distance with such finality.
Usually when someone's that low on a single leg, below the knee, they just have the ankle, you can just kick out of it. And you see Iaquinta trying to do that, and he's realizing, man, it's like a vice on the end of my foot.
Al's looking for the arm bar. He's looking to get that right leg across the face.
Trying to create the angle.
Khabib has talked a lot about how different MMA wrestling is than freestyle or Greco-Roman. He feels like that's what makes this sport so interesting. And his MMA wrestling at the top of the heap. Big deep breaths now from Raging Al.
Once again, back to the wrestling ride. Not trying to put his legs in, not trying to get hooks, not being overly aggressive, just taking the energy out of Al Iaquinta. So wrestling rides are so good at.
Nurmagomedov has the hands locked here. See if he can drag Iaquinta down fully.
Al Iaquinta doing a good job of using the fence. One of those legs out, right out from under him. In switch position, he's not going to get that as long as his legs are underneath Nurmagomedov.
Two and a half minutes gone by here in round 2. Khabib at his suffocating best as usual.
Al's giving up his back again. You can't give up your back like that. Look how he grabs the back leg. That's beautiful.
Right in front of Massero.
Yeah. That's a good thing, if he can tell you anything. But the difference in skill level is so high, I don't know if it's enough.
Fishing for the neck. He might have it.
This could be it.
Nope.
But now full mount. Turning on his side, frying pan into the fire.
Iaquinta trying to control that left wrist, but he ate a big right hand there.
He's going under the neck again. He's got him fully flattened out here.
Worst position to be in.
Watch your back of the head. There you go.
Al's trying very hard to get out of this, but there's just not much he can do with this control.
And every time he raises up, he exposes his neck just like that.
We went sideways here. That's slightly better.
He's already going for the arm triangle defense. That's why he's grabbing his leg. That's to defend against the arm triangle.
A case of pick your poison here for Raging Al Iaquinta. 1 minute to go in the round.
This was what Khabib does. He makes you absolutely miserable with his pressure, his ground and pound, his control.
What's crazy is he does it to everybody. I mean, we've never even, oh, look at this. He's got the back again. We've never remotely seen him in trouble on the ground. I mean, his dominance on the ground is really unprecedented. We've seen really good guys on the ground, but he redefines it.
And he really calculates risk on the ground well. He doesn't compromise position unless he feels like he has a strike opening or a sub.
And I think that's a big key to his success is I only go for the choke when it's really, really there. He doesn't risk position. Going for a lot of submissions, he doesn't go for a ton of them.
Right.
When he goes for them, it's because he's really got it. He's content to stay on top and do damage.
Heavy ground strikes here. It does look as though Iaquinta could survive this round.
Al's gonna shake him off. Look at this.
Good. Go. Nice job, nice job.
And Khabib coming in with the game plan we all expected. Started with a kick to the face, but look at this takedown. Single leg position, beasts him up and sweeps out the leg. Once he's on top, positional dominance. Hooks in, trying to not just get the choke, but ground and pound. Taking the choke when it becomes available, not trying to force anything, but just leeching the strength out of Iaquinta.
Don't forget to move right when you stand in front of him.
Чуть-чуть надо ущерб нанести, Хайб.
You need to damage him. You need to make a damage on him. More damage.
Когда ты сзади, Хайб, сверху оставайся сюда. Вниз не иди, хорошо, Хайб.
When you're behind him, just stay tight. Keep tight on him. Don't
Постоянно тап позицию, Хайб. Он так устает, когда ты сверху.
stay all the time on the top. Stay all the time. He's tired.
10 minutes down, the Nurmagomedov corner looking for an increase in the damage inflicted by their fighter. Third round of a possible 5 here. Nurmagomedov in red, Iaquinta's in blue. We'll see if Iaquinta can get those hands going early round 3. Instead, Khabib throws the right and lands.
Al with a nice jab there.
He's winging these punches, though.
Yeah, he really is.
Well, it's not as though they're trying to reinvent Nurmagomedov every time they trot him out there, but they want to send out an improved edition, and that's a big part of the focus for Javier Mendez. Nurmagomedov has never been knocked down in his pro MMA career. He has started to throw a lot more kicks in training. Of course, that Barboza training camp helped a lot.
You can kind of see Al trying to figure out how to land the right hand and land power punches without closing distance so much I get taken down, because Khabib has shown the ability to dive from the outside, not really set up his shots, just go ahead and go for him.
Al's talking to him now. Khabib hit him with a couple of jabs, and Al started talking to him.
Oh. Quick. Finding a home for that right hand.
Nice.
Up jab from the hip, very, very quick.
Look at that fake. Oh, interesting.
Oh! Longo looking for Iaquinta to follow up that shot.
Oh! Nice right hand over the top.
That was real.
Well, Nurmagomedov has certainly inflicted more damage, but Iaquinta having some moments now.
Man, Khabib takes a lot of risks with that chin high. Defense not really his thing. Willing to walk forward. Shot a lot of confidence in that lead jab.
Khabib 6 of 10 on his takedown attempts thus far. We'll see if he shoots again here shortly. USA chants here at Barclays Center as this New York crowd tries to get behind one of their own.
Iaquinta has faked for the takedown a few times. He hasn't committed to a takedown. Been content to stand and bang from that low stance. So far hasn't had an answer for the jab of Khabib.
Well, it almost looked like he wanted to stay stationary to look for the opening for the counter.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to, yeah, right there. Trying to pull and shoot.
That's hard to do off the jab. It's much easier to counter off power punches. not really able to do much off the jab yet.
He's talking to him.
Nice counter right lands for Iaquinta. But really from day one, Nurmagomedov has been ready for prime time. So much confidence in his preparation, his work ethic, his team that goes 25 or 30 deep. Under a minute now to go round 3. Iaquinta hanging in.
Khabib's standing a lot more than I thought he would in this fight already. Only 3 rounds in.
Al is talking to him a lot.
You wonder if the language barrier prevents effective trash talk. They're really communicating.
Well, I think it's mostly mumbles. I think he gets the gist of it.
Khabib, though, usually does his in-fight trash talking in his opponent's native tongue, so.
Yeah, he's pretty good with that.
Yeah, and he usually does it while he's on top of you, punching you in the face.
So you can hear him really clearly because he's in your ear behind you.
It's not even trash talking. He's begging you to give up.
Yeah.
But not here. This is different. Ooh.
The entire 3rd round on the feet. Championship rounds forthcoming.
You gotta sit down, you gotta sit.
Fuck yeah, Rachel!
Let's go, Al. Fuck him, Al. Look, Al, I want head. Al, you did a better job. Al, I want head movement, baby. Head movement. Let's make him miss that corner, folks. For it. Come on, he gave us a round to get in, man. Let's go. How we feeling?
There's a reason why he's not shooting, Al. He's feeling it too, brother.
Al, you gotta throw that wide right to the body and set up the overhand. Let's do it. All right?
Great.
Let's go.
You're doing great when you do it. You give them an opportunity when you do it the other way. Okay, you understand? Okay, you did it now. Go back to father plan, please. Okay?
Khabib,
you feed him with the gym. You feed him with the gym. Then 1-2 and go take down.
Championship rounds. Who would have thunk it?
So was the message there for Nurmagomedov to get back to the strategy from rounds 1 and 2, boys?
100%.
Totally, 100%. And then standing that much gave Iaquinta in his corner a lot of confidence.
Right. Yeah. You heard Matt Serra.
The F-bomb motivation.
Yeah.
You know? How much do you love Sarah Longo? How much do you love that
Love
team?
them. I want those guys to do a reality show.
Well, I think if you had told Team Iaquinta that they had reached the championship rounds, they would have taken that.
How much would you love to be a fly on the wall watching Conor McGregor watch this right now?
Oh.
Screaming and yelling.
Nice uppercut from Khabib and a kick. But the last 2 takedown attempts have been thwarted by Iaquinta.
Iaquinta is teaching us a lot about the possible vulnerabilities that Khabib has. Because he's not the striker that Conor is. He's not the same kind of dynamic in and out movement, sharp shooting punches, and ridiculous one-punch power. He's a different animal. But he's surviving with toughness and with pure insanity.
And let's not forget a wrestling background. He's low in that stance. He's wide with his feet.
Yes.
He's approaching like a wrestler would, and that's an important component.
Iaquinta, former wrestler at Nassau County Community College. And there have been guys in the past, Pat Healy, Gleison Tebow, that have provided some resistance to Nurmagomedov in terms of his takedown game.
Ooh. What Al hasn't done is put punches together effectively. He's had a couple of one-shots. He'll leap in with one, but not really effective with the combinations.
What's crazy is that this is still standing. Like, I'm curious why. I'm curious why Nurmagomedov has chosen this strategy, or if he doesn't, there he goes. If he doesn't feel like he can complete it like this.
3 in a row. And the striking, I think, has been working pretty well for Khabib. I mean, Al's been in it, but I think Khabib's, for the most part, been out-striking him.
He has, but it's not impressive.
Yeah.
It's these shots are not, I mean, they're okay. but it's not like we're watching a world-class striker. We're watching a guy who's hitting a guy with jabs that he's already beaten up on the ground, and he's avoiding this guy's power punches. But this is no way dominance on the feet. He's just winning, you know? He's winning with the jab, and he's blooding Al's face up, but Al is dangerous right here.
Let's check back in on that power corner, Ray Longo, Matt Serra.
I wanted to decapitate him with that fucking head kick when he goes.
Come on, Al. Yes, that's it. Do it. Throw the kick after that.
Finish over the top.
Bring those guys some cannolis.
Dude, it's so awesome.
Nice, Al.
Stay on it.
Come on, stay on it.
Right back to that body.
Finish with a hook,
Back to that body. Cut him off. Cut him off.
That's it, Al. Finish with a hook. Nothing there. Come on, Al.
Well, they knew they were throwing a game fighter in there tonight, and Iaquinta has proven that. And then some. Nurmagomedov shakes that left hand off.
He shook it off, but it connected.
One of the difficulties with what has happened all week, the change of opponents and Iaquinta stepping up, tough guy, is anything less than complete dominance. A wipeout,
right?
Disappointing.
Yes.
For Nurmagomedov, that's the position he's in. Now, does that affect him? I don't really know, but a lot of fans will see it that way.
Oh, it's already disappointing. This round is very disappointing for Nurmagomedov.
Standards are so high, Joe.
Al is very dangerous here, and it wasn't supposed to be. Look at that. And it looks to me like Nurmagomedov is slowing down, which makes him more vulnerable.
And one of the things, he's never been through a 5-round fight, never been through a championship fight.
And let's also not forget, Iaquinta, he did have a full training camp, but a championship 5-round training camp takes on a little bit of a different tone in terms of the rounds, the sparring. And look at him here at the end of this 4th round, hanging tough.
Well, with anything, no matter what happens, Raging Al's stock goes up, 100%.
Yeah.
Significant strikes. Nurmagomedov has outlanded Iaquinta 126-16, and he adds to that total there.
That's a crazy number. That is crazy. Oh, right hand over the top.
But no combinations afterward. It's just pretty much one.
The thing is, 126-18, that number 18 could knock someone dead. And if that does happen, it doesn't matter, and all those numbers mean nothing. This fight's still happening. We're in the 5th and final round. Who would have bet that? And here's the jabs from Nurmagomedov. They're popping Al in the face, but again, they're scoring for sure. He's winning for sure, but these are not dangerous. He's landing some good shots. He's popping him with that jab, blooding up his nose, but Al is moving forward, looking for the kill. Who would have ever guessed that?
Coach, give me 10 seconds, please. Khabib.
I want a guarantee, okay? I want a guarantee. You can finish him on the ground. He's tougher to finish on top. You understand me? He's tougher to finish up top, so we want him on the ground. That's where your best option is to take him to the ground, okay?
Please, coach.
Don't get careless. Keep working that jab. Keep working your movement. Keep your head.
Fifth round, I want you to finish him, brother. You're better than him everywhere. I want you to finish him, Khabib.
Well, certainly a big part of the narrative is Iaquinta hanging tough, but it has been a Nurmagomedov domination as usual, and it's not as though, Joe, he's been a bonus machine in the UFC. First UFC bonus for him was his last fight against Edson Barboza, but he continues to just destroy and dominate the best lightweights in the world.
Look at this, stuffed.
It's very interesting. In his corner, they were saying, take him down, take him down. You know, he's much easier to finish on the ground than he is on the feet. There was no tactical advice on how to set that shot up. I didn't hear any of that. It was take him down, but, you know, Iaquinta's been doing a good job countering that single leg by turning out and kicking his leg.
Nice left hook to the body and a left up top. And meanwhile, this is the 5th and final round, so Al knows he's only got 4.5 minutes to go.
Right.
That's it.
He's got it, he can throw it.
And Khabib does not have his father here tonight. Nurmagomedov had some visa issues, unable to be in his corner.
Oh.
Iaquinta still throwing heavy punches. You stop going up with every single one.
Nurmagomedov fires back with that jab. It's been there all night.
Jimmy, you're so right about Nurmagomedov's chin. I mean, it is up in the air. Straight up in the air. And he's pulling back straight. Leaning back with his weight past his hips.
That's why I'm curious why we haven't seen more combination from catching, moving back with that third, that fourth punch. Maybe that one will land. You can see the first two. Third and fourth are harder to see.
Well, Al's throwing everything into each punch, and he's just not throwing those kind of combinations.
I think that's the weakness to his style. He throws a hard 1 and 2.
The way he's pulling back with his chin up is very amateurish.
Body shot is there.
This is just not what you want to see from a guy who's the most threatening lightweight in the world. You want to see a full game.
A few short months ago against Barboza, he looked like the most dominant fighter perhaps in the world in any division.
That one was much deeper than those outside low single legs we saw before, and he couldn't finish.
Some vision issues for Al with that left eye now.
He's having trouble seeing.
Flying knee lands. And finally a takedown for the first time since round 2 for Nurmagomedov.
Oh, he's leaking bad.
The Russians being heard from now. Nurmagomedov trying to become that nation's first undisputed UFC champion.
I think Tony Ferguson would say it's disputed.
There'll be a lot of opinions tomorrow about who the best 155-pounder in the world is.
Oh,
a lot. We're going to hear all of them.
They're going to be flying like mockingbirds.
90 seconds. Khabib 7 of 15 on the takedown attempts.
Both hooks in, but he's high in the ride and going around that leg again.
Looks like he might be under the chin there.
Nope. That's on the jaw.
My mistake.
You can still finish it there, but...
Yeah, but you got to have an unbelievable squeeze.
And probably Iaquinta is probably going to let his jaw break before he taps.
Yeah.
It's a tough dude to work with a neck crank.
Well, one thing is that what we said that made this fight exciting, about Al Iaquinta being tough as nails and crazy, proved to be absolutely correct.
Accurate 1,000%.
Yeah, this is an entertaining fight. And Phil would draw, oh, look at this, high. Oh, I love how he does that.
Always goes that cradle position,
yes. He cradles that leg and maintains that back mount.
Well, somewhat implausibly, Al Iaquinta and Khabib Nurmagomedov go the distance.
Wow. Wow. That was a hell of a fight. That was very interesting. Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor right now are screaming at their TVs.
But they're going to have to come in and prove they're the best.
Well, Jimmy, perhaps Khabib Nurmagomedov somewhat a victim of expectations here tonight. But in a few short moments, Dagestan is going to have its first UFC champion.
Let's not forget, this was a dominant performance, a 5-rounder, but a dominant performance by Khabib. Look at this, the single legs early, the tenacity with which he went after the takedown early. Al Iaquinta getting back to his feet just to get taken down again. Great top pressure. It all started with the single legs here. This was in round number 1. Looking for the rear naked choke, ground and pound, going back to it. Every time Al Iaquinta would pop his head up, Nurmagomedov would go for the rear naked choke, and then the jab striking, that lead jab, quick, fast, accurate. Really went for it at the end. Great combination. Led to the takedown again. Just tenacious when he went for it. It went 25 minutes. A lot of people didn't expect that, but Khabib dominant for 25 minutes.
And the numbers certainly bear that out. Distance strikes 115-23 for Khabib Nurmagomedov. Outstruck Iaquinta in the clinch, of course. No surprise on the ground. And 8 takedowns secured on 16 attempts for the soon-to-be undisputed UFC lightweight champion, the Eagle Khabib Nurmagomedov. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. One final time tonight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 50-44, 50-43, and 50-43 for the winner by unanimous decision, and new undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world, Khabib, the Eagle, Nurmagomedov!
I'm here with the winner and new UFC lightweight champion, Khabib Nurmagomedov. First of all, how does this feel?
I don't know. First of all, I want to say Alhamdulillah. Without God, we cannot do nothing. Everything is nothing. You know, number one, believe on your one God. And I'm very sad about, all my team here without my father. This everything because of my father. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Father. Coach Javier, come here, brother. Coach, please come here. Coach Javier, I come 2012 here. You know, he teach me a lot of things, you know. Mix, my father and Javier is incredible mix for me. Thank you so much for everybody. My team Eagles MMA, my team AK here is 4 King right now in AK. Luke, Rockhold, Kane, DC and me. You know, it's nobody have like this. Who have? Nobody. It's best team ever. Thank you so much because of this guy.
It's a very incredible team.
Thank you, my teammates, Islam, Abu Bakr, Umar, Zuba is here, Muhammad, my management team, Rizwan, Ali. Without these guys, it's very hard for me, you know. I love all these guys. Ali, I love you too, brother. And you know, we're all family. You know, around me is very good, humble people. And everybody push me, teach me, you know. Even now, I still teach, learning, you know. 100 year living, 100 year you have to learn, you know. Like George James St. Pierre said one time, even you black belt, you have to stay in your mind white belt. But now, I want to fight with George St. Pierre in New York, Madison Square Garden. Hey, Madison Square Garden, November. And you know, I want to say thank you for my opponent and his team. Iaquinta is a real Brooklyn gangster. This is not about chicken. Iaquinta is real gangster. He come here, where's Conor? He want to fight with Bass. I want to fight with real gangster, you know. Iaquinta, thank you so much. You know, it's crazy. No, 26-0, 10-0 in UFC. UFC undisputed, undefeated lightweight champion. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Khabib, how difficult was it with all the changes of opponents and the last-minute Max Holloway dropout, and then having Al Iaquinta step up at the last minute, literally yesterday? What was that like?
Nothing changed. Thank you, Iaquinta. Other guys want to take this fight. Hey, doesn't matter who. If you're ready, if you want to be champion, what are you talking about? About stylistic or different opponents? Right now, if the UFC give me somebody, I can fight. Right now, give me 30-minute rest, little bit drink water, you know. Think about, like, call my father, talk with him a little bit about what I make mistake. I think work too hard about my jab, you know, and give me 30 minutes and I can fight with anybody. Tony or Conor, doesn't matter. Maybe DC, doesn't matter.
I look forward to seeing you defend your title. Congratulations and enjoy it.
And I want to say thank you. Большое спасибо, сейчас в тяжелом положении у нас. Мой старший брат, совладелец нашей команды Eagle MMA, Nurmagomedov. Он мне очень много помог. Не только мне, очень многим спортсменам России, нашей команде Eagle MMA. Сейчас у него чуть проблемы, но я хочу, чтобы он знал, что мы, спортсмены, молимся за него, делаем дуа. Я надеюсь, что наш национальный лидер Владимир Владимирович Путин поможет ему. И его хочу поздравить тем, что он выиграл выборы последние месяц назад. Большое спасибо. И я надеюсь, что это в скором времени решится. Зиаудин Гаджиевич, мы всегда с вами. Спасибо.
Can you please translate that?
It's a little bit hard for me, you know.
Just roughly.
Yes, I talk about like my big brother Ziaudin Magomedov. You know, he helped a lot of us, and I want to say wish good luck for him.
Congratulations. UFC lightweight champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
And it sounds fitting. Khabib Nurmagomedov, UFC lightweight champion. That post-fight interview brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Say what you want about going the distance. 26-0, a phenomenal accomplishment. He deserves that gold around his waist.
And fittingly, the first Dagestani to have a UFC championship belt. The first Russian undisputed UFC champion is Khabib Nurmagomedov. What a week, what a night it has been here in New York City. UFC 223, Khabib versus Iaquinta, has been brought to you by Harley-Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley-Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend.
At UFC 224, Brazil welcomes back one of their own champions, Amanda Nunes, one of the most aggressive and brutal strikers in the entire UFC. A lot of people have tried to beat Amanda Nunes and haven't gotten it done.
That's it.
But Raquel Pennington may be that person because she is a very skilled individual.